You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
I didn't come all the way to Virginia as a Texas boy to win 5-6 games. I want to win the conference championship.
I had a dream, I had a vision, I had to work for it.
Dreams and belief.
People don't have to believe in you. It's all about within.
3 weeks ago, the Cavaliers blew Duke out in Durham.
Virginia is steamrolling in this one.
But tonight, the Blue Devils are out for something greater.
You can't stop this, you can't stop this.
With a win, Virginia is in.
Virginia has done it!
And the wild ride of the ACC will carry on into the CFP. Duke.
Everything you've done the whole year, for right now.
Virginia.
Be who you capable of being.
For the ACC Championship.
And welcome everyone to the ACC Championship Game presented by Subway. From the Queen City of Charlotte, where tonight a first-time conference championship game winner will be crowned. When the season began, very few expected Virginia to be here. Tony Elliott's team was picked to finish 14th in the preseason ACC poll. But Chandler Morris arrived talking about playing for a conference crown. He's backed up those words with his play and his leadership, and tonight the Cavaliers can win the first outright ACC title in school history. Duke wasn't expected to be here 1 week ago, but when Cal upset SMU to create a five-way tie for second place in the conference standings, Manny Diaz and the Blue Devils won the tiebreaker and advanced to the second title game in program history. Their upset hopes tonight rest largely on the arm of the ACC's leading passer, Darian Mensah. Duke arrives at 7-5, just the fifth team ever to enter a power conference championship game with 5 or more losses. Virginia's 10-2. They were alone atop the ACC regular season at 7-1 in conference play. And by virtue of that record and their number 17 ranking, the Cavaliers are a lock to make it to the college football playoff as one of the 5 highest-ranked conference champions if they win tonight. Duke, even with a win, has virtually no chance. They're unlikely to be ranked ahead of conference champions Tulane and James Madison. So if Duke wins tonight, the JMU Dukes will likely be in the field at 12 as the last team in. A case tonight of the Dukes cheering for the Dukies. Sean McDonough along with Greg McElroy, delighted to have you with us as this very important championship Saturday continues. These two teams playing for their first championship in the ACC since they brought around a championship game 21 years ago. This matchup a surprise to some. In the case of Virginia, the most recent example of a team that if you have a lot of money to spend in the portal, you spend it well, particularly on a quarterback, you have a chance to have a big turnaround in your program. And Chandler Morris is a big part of this story.
He's the heart and soul of this football team. I mean, you watch him, the one game they were without him, the offense completely fell apart. I think you can make a case he's as valuable to his team as anybody in college football. And what he does best is operate on the move and extend plays. When he's on the run, when he's outside the pocket, a lot of defenders are scared of him taking off and running, so they uncover and he creates big plays. You have to do that tonight against a very aggressive Duke defense.
He was a high-profile player out of the transfer portal. So was their leading rusher this season, who was much less heralded. With more on Jamari Taylor. Down on the field, Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, it's hard to believe that Virginia running back Jamari Taylor started his career as an overlooked walk-on from SCS, North Carolina Central, and he was with that program for over 2 years before he even earned a full scholarship. He didn't even start until his 5th and final season there, which was just last year, but Taylor told us he wouldn't change a thing about his journey because it taught him the value of patience and humility. And now he enters this conference championship game as the ACC's leading rusher, just 3 yards shy of 1,000 rush yards on the season, and he'll look to do that in his hometown of Charlotte in front of 60-plus friends and family. Sean?
Big night for him. Big night for everybody on each side in this matchup. When you talk about Duke, it's another team that was impacted mightily by a first-year transfer quarterback from Tulane, Darian Mensah.
He's outrageously productive. I mean, the numbers are insane with how many yards he's accumulated through the air. But I think the biggest part of his game is the downfield passing attack. And in the first matchup against Virginia, they had 5 different examples in which receivers were behind the defense, and he missed them. He went 0 for 5. They got to protect him, and he's got to hit some shots downfield because this could turn into a bit of a track meet with both defenses having to play against great offenses.
Manny Diaz, his coach, said both of these teams feed off the ability of their quarterback. They take great confidence from them. And like Virginia, they have a good running game at Duke as well from a surprising source when the season started. There's Taylor McGregor.
Yeah, Sean, and it will be so important for them to establish that run game because last time they faced UVA, they had just 42 rushing yards on the ground in that game. But it is Nate Shepard, the freshman, who they really want to rely on. He didn't get his first start of the season until week 5. But when he did, the dynamic of this offense completely changed. They really like him in multitude of ways, but he's the one guy on the field who can take it to the house.
Duke and Virginia for the ACC title. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte for the ACC Championship. A rematch of a game played between these two teams just 3 weeks ago in Durham. A one-sided victory for Virginia. Chandler Morris threw 2 touchdowns to Sage Ennis and Trell Harris. They opened up a big lead. Jamari Taylor 133 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 78-yard TD run. Tony Elliott's team at one point led 31-3. They won 34-17. So they take confidence in that victory. They're 9th in the last 10 meetings against Duke. And who's ready to take the field? Off one of the great seasons in school history. 10 wins, matching the school record. Only one other time did they win 10 games. That was back in 1989 when they were coached by the legendary Hall of Famer George Welsh. A lot of close calls on the way to that terrific record for Coach Elliott, including 3 straight overtime wins in conference play. Their only loss, and Greg referenced it a moment ago, was to Wake Forest in a game in which Chandler Morris was knocked out of the game in the second quarter with a concussion. He returned in time to play in that win against Duke. The Duke coaches weren't sure he was going to face them, and they wish he didn't 3 weeks ago. Morris at his 4th stop in college football. Oklahoma, TCU, North Texas last year, and now Virginia. He's 24 years old. The Duke Blue Devils leaving their locker room 7-5, but they point out that they've lost to an 11-win team in Tulane, a 10-win team, 2 9-win teams, and an 8-win team. They struggled in non-conference play, went 1-3. Losses to Illinois, Tulane, and at UConn. Started well in conference play, then lost 3 out of 4. One of those was out of the league to UConn. And they won the 5-way tiebreaker, which Greg will explain at great length when we have an hour. But it went to cumulative conference winning percentage for all opponents. Duke's opponents in the league went 32-32, and that was a better combined record than the opponents of Georgia Tech, Miami, Pittsburgh, and SMU. So Manny Diaz's team won the tiebreaker. Darian Mensah, a big reason why they're here. The 20-year-old redshirt sophomore from San Luis Obispo, California. They're a high-scoring team. They scored 45 points or more in 4 of their 6 conference wins. Playing a little more than 2 hours away from their campus in Durham, about a 4-hour drive from the grounds in Charlottesville. down here to Charlotte for UVA. The teams are on the field. The ACC Championship Game comes your way next, right after this. Crowd ready to go on a chilly night here in Charlotte with the temperature in the low 40s. Virginia won the toss, and to me, Greg, already a surprise. Tony Elliott elected to defer. And given the way the game started 3 weeks ago in Germany, Virginia took the opening kickoff, had the ball for about 7 minutes, ran 14 plays, scored a touchdown, and really put Duke on its heels early. I'm surprised he didn't try to do that again tonight.
I'm with you. I think Duke is probably thrilled that they decided to defer, because when you talk to Manny Diaz and his offensive staff, they really felt like that long and methodical drive disrupted the rhythm of their offensive identity, and they got off to a slow start as a result, and ultimately Virginia pulled away.
Yeah, Manny Diaz said our offense waited a long time. Virginia scored that touchdown, the opening drive, and a long drive. There was a commercial break. Then they kicked off, did Virginia. Then there was another commercial break. Manny Diaz said it felt like forever before our offense got out there. Their offense had a sack on the first play from scrimmage. And he said that really set the tone. But they'll have the ball first tonight. Elijah Slidebeck kicks off for UVA. Short, and a fair catch made by Samir Hagans. These are the top 2 kickoff return teams in the country, by the way. Hagans didn't try it there. So here comes Mensah, second team All ACC quarterback this year, behind the Conference Player of the Year, Haynes King of Georgia Tech. Terrific numbers, 68% completions. He led the ACC in passing yards, and in touchdowns. 28 TD passes is already the single season Duke record.
A terrific talent, very accurate with the football, especially on the downfield throws.
High scoring unit, averaging 34.6 points per game. Only Pitt scored more points per game among ACC teams. Quick pass to Landon King, one of their tight ends. He was tackled by Maddox Marcellus after a gain of 5.
It'll be very important for the offensive coordinator, Johnny Brewer, to protect his offensive line a little bit. In that first matchup against Virginia, that defensive line really feasted and made Mensah uncomfortable. So moving the pocket, quick throws, and committing to the run will take some of the pressure off.
He was sacked 4 times. That was a season high. Nate Shepard, the freshman running back Taylor McGregor was talking about, taken down by Jason Hammond. And the struggles on offense were a surprise. The sacks among the surprises. Duke had its worst game on offense of the season. Matter of fact, Manny Diaz said we played 11 good games offensively and 1 bad one. And it was against UVA. Season low in points and yards. It's really a bad night all the way around.
And it led to them kind of altering their identity in the final 2 regular season games. Been more of a commitment to the run, finding a little more balance these last 2 matchups.
Anderson Castle is their short yardage back. He's in on 3rd down and 1, and already a timeout called. Jerry Magallanes is the referee.
Timeout, Virginia. Their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Please put 13:54 back on the game clock. 13.
Tony Elliott put his defense out there to start. He's already used the timeout. With the 3rd play from scrimmage upcoming for Duke, there are all the numbers, and they weren't pretty for the Blue Devils. Just 255 yards. All of those numbers season lows against a very good Virginia defense, one of the best they've had in recent years. Down the stretch, the last 5 games of the season, they gave up under 15.5 points per game.
And I think for Tony Elliott, so much of the attention has been on Morris and an improved offensive identity. And what's been overlooked is how improved they are along the defensive line. That's their strength.
And we asked Tony Elliott, what do you like most about your team? He said the fact that we're a team. Strong in all phases, great togetherness. Out of the pistol, Castle remains the running back, and he slams ahead for a first down. It's a nice duo. Shepard, the lead back, and then when they need short yardage, Castle, transfer from Appalachian State, comes in.
And it's a really good 1-2 punch. They complement each other beautifully. And this offensive line, it's a veteran group. They've played a lot of football. So they'll go as they go tonight from a protection standpoint and running the football.
One of the best offensive lines in the country. A rare bad day against UVA, but they're one of the 10 semifinalists for the Joe Moore Award as the best offensive line in the country. They give Mensah plenty of time. Shepard took the check down, broke a tackle from James Jackson, and he's near another first down with a 9-yard pickup. The impact players are brought to us by Chewy.
It's Cooper Barcade, wide receiver transfer from Harvard, been very effective on the outside. And then it's the two defensive ends that can really affect this game. And K-Mac and Melton, they were the biggest reason why Virginia pulled away last time. So they got to neutralize their presence tonight.
K-Mac had a sack, that sack on the first play of the game that helped set the tone for the UVA defense in Durham. Shepard has the first down. He's across midfield with a 4-yard gain. True freshman from Mandeville, Louisiana. As Taylor McGregor mentioned, wasn't a starter until week 5, and their ground game really picked up. Those numbers are all freshman records, as are his 30 receptions. A record for a freshman running back at Duke.
Yeah, he's excellent in the passing game and really good after the catch, and really can create in this offense.
Tassel went in motion to the left. It's a screen to the right. And Kayshawn Brown is dumped for a loss of 2. Maddox Marcellus with help from Hunter Osborne.
Out of character so far from Duke with playing as slow as they play. They're not a high-octane super tempo team, but they are a team that likes to operate with a little more rhythm. So slowing things down a little bit tonight in the massive opportunity.
Mensah hit as he throws, still got it to Barcate. We're gained to the 46-yard line to pick up a 5. And they'll need 7 more to move the chains again. It was Mitchell Melton, the Ohio State transfer, played on the national championship team last year, that hit Mensah as he threw the ball.
And this Virginia defense has been terrific on third down all season long. The second best in college football behind Texas A&M, allowing just 27% conversion rate, which is remarkable.
And they held Duke to 4 out of 15 in the first meeting of the regular season. That's right on that 27% number.
Timeout.
Third down was a huge key in that regular season game. Virginia converted 12 times. No score. Duke has 3rd and 7 on the first possession of the game when we come back. Johnny Brewer's the offensive coordinator for Duke. From Arkansas, grew up influenced very early in his career by Gus Malzahn. Said he talked to Gus this week about playing in a championship game. Gus said the players going to be very excited, be very basic to start the game.
Yeah, run your day one install stuff, the stuff you've run a million times, so you can take the emotion out of it in those first 15 snaps.
And they've pretty well done that. They do have some tricks up their sleeve, we are told, perhaps for later on. 3rd down and 7. Mensah rolling left, has a receiver, has a first down. Samir Higgins. They got 9 on 3rd down and 7.
This is a great job by Mensah buying time in the pocket. They lose pursuit. He's able to escape, and Virginia just loses track of a receiver, but it looked like somebody might have been covered up.
And an eligible receiver downfield. So a big penalty brings the ball back to the Duke side of midfield, and Manny Diaz asking for an explanation.
And this is up top. You look right there. He's covering up the tight end that's attached to the line of scrimmage, and the tight end, I believe that's Hazley. He releases downfield, and that's what results in the foul.
Third down and 13. Castle back in at running back. Four-man rush. They get pressure on Mensah. He dumped it over the middle. And Hazley upended, well short of the first down by Landon Danley, the backup linebacker who's playing more since they lost Cam Robinson, their outstanding linebacker, best player in their defense, tore his ACL early in that win at Duke 3 weeks ago. So John Rudzinski, the defensive coordinator, has been playing without Robinson. Maddox Marcellus has moved in as a starter and played very well.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of overcoming that absence of Cam Robinson because he is enormous and haven't really skipped a beat.
Cade Reynoldson is the punter. Movement along the line of scrimmage. And now Manny Diaz will have a decision to make. If it is against Virginia, it's going to make it 4th down and 2.
Offside, defense, number 23.
And he is going to send the offense back out there to go for it. Jacob Holmes jumped offside.
Yeah, and it was well done. As you can see, they did the clap simulation. They jumped up, and the Subway ref cam shows you that left side of the punt unit jumping in the neutral zone. And Duke is a team that loves to go for it on 4th down. They're 8th in college football in go or no-go situations. And in plus territory, they go for it 56% of the time.
They've converted 25 4th downs this season, 6 more than any other team in the ACC, and 4th most in the country. Behind FAU, Army, and Baylor, going for a 4th down and 2 on the opening drive of the game, with Castle the running back. They faked it to Castle, and it's caught for a 1st down at the 25-yard line. Landon King, a 16-yard gain. Gutsy call by Manny Diaz's offensive coordinator, Johnny Brewer.
And this is big time by Mensah. Watch the defender, number 4, eyes in the backfield the whole way. He sees it, but he had to put it on him immediately. That was a very tight window that Mensah had to thread the needle through, and that's just a big time conversion.
This is reminiscent of the start of the game 3 weeks ago in Durham, except it was Virginia with the long ball control drive. They bring pressure. Mensah throws over the head of his intended target. Quayshawn Brown, he's easy to overthrow. They list him at 5'8". Yesterday, Johnny Brewer said he's probably 5'6".
And that was a big problem in the first game. Guys behind the defense, and Mensah misses him. He was 0 for 5 on those throws, and Mensah knows when you got a touchdown in a championship setting, you got to make the throw.
And Brewer knew was there. The man they call Queso, Quayshawn Brown. That was his first incomplete pass. Mensah now 6 out of 7 for 39 yards. Nate Shepard back in. Stutter steps ahead near the 21. And Chandler Morris can probably relate to what Darian Mensah was going through 3 weeks ago as he waits and waits and waits on the sideline.
And it's a really uncomfortable spot. I mean, it just feels like you haven't thrown a pass in forever. And while you can simulate on the sideline, kind of work yourself back into the game, into the flow, it's very difficult to jumpstart the engine offensively after a long time-consuming opening drive.
I just don't understand it at all, given that both coaching staffs and teams talked about how important that Virginia opening drive was in Durham. This is the 12th play of the Duke drive. They've taken up just about half of the quarter. Nate Shepard, a nice catch. He has another Duke 1st down. Christian Charles, a backup safety, made the tackle.
And they kind of lose track of where the down and distance. Look how much depth all these guys get, and it leads to an easy completion underneath. It's only 3rd and 6. They played it like it was 3rd and 12, and they gave up a real quick throw for a 1st down.
2 out of 3 on 3rd down. They converted the 4th down after the Virginia penalty on the would-be Duke punt. More than 8 minutes on the move for Duke. Shepard tripped up, an enormous tackle to Well, Shepard had all kinds of room along the sideline, but Devin Neal didn't let him get there.
Man, that was a big-time tackle by Neal, too, because Shepard is so good in the open field. He just gets that left foot and drags him to the ground and saves 6 points.
He was the third-team all-conference defensive back, Devin Neal, for the ACC Coach of the Year, Tony Elliott. Mensah with the play clock running down. 1 second, they get it off. Mensah. That looked doomed from before the snap. He managed to get a 1-yard gain. So here's another third down. On that Virginia opening drive 3 weeks ago, they converted 3 third downs and a 4th down. The similarities continue.
The parallels are almost identical. The only difference is if they don't pay it off with a touchdown, it's going to feel like a win for the Hoos.
A 9.5-minute drive of Virginia blitz. A screen against it. Jeremiah Hazley, touchdown. Jeremiah Hazley, his 4th touchdown of this season. All 4 have come in the last 5 games. Todd Polino for the extra point. 75 yards in 15 plays in 9 minutes and 38 seconds. Mensah was 8 out of 9 on the drive for 60 yards in the TD.
And how about the run after contact by Hazley? Runs through the tackle of Hardy. Finds his way into the end zone. Johnny Brewer's offense off to a hot start.
The ACC Championship is presented by Subway. Join the new Sub Club and get every 4th footlong free. And in part by American Express. There's nothing like Platinum.
Well, both sides talked about the regular season meeting. The tone was set by Virginia's opening drive. It went 14 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown. Duke topped that. The opening possession of the night. Mensah to Hazley to end a 15-play, 75-yard, 9-minute and 38-play drive. It's the longest opening drive on a first possession by plays and time in the history of the ACC Championship game. Now in its 21st year. Neither of these teams has ever won it. They're each here for the 2nd time. Apparently there was a fair catch made in the end zone by Trell Harris.
And this is just a great job of taking advantage of pressure. They decide to bring a 6-man pressure, and what beats the blitz? Screens. If they over pursue, Hazley's right there. He gets a good block from Pickett and runs through the contact of Hardy en route to the game's opening score.
When we talked to Johnny Brewer yesterday, who are the best players on your offense? We had already talked about Mensah. First name out of his mouth was Hazley. He said he's really the glue guy of the offense. Excellent blocker in addition to his catching skills. Now the officials are conferring. And there's an issue with the clock.
Yeah, it says 15 minutes and 22 seconds.
Please reset the game clock to 5 minutes, 22 seconds. 5 minutes, 22 seconds.
We have 15, 22. We have 22 now. There we go.
There we go. 15-22 would be tough in a 15-minute
Yes, quarter. It would be. Tony Elliott would like to start over again. So here's Chandler Morris, a 24-year-old in his first year at Virginia. Fake the toss, throws down the hash marks, caught by Trell Harris. Morris. Their leading receiving threat, that's his 57th catch of the year, good for 23 yards.
And look at the effect that it has on the second level defenders. He gives that quick fake. It forces those defenders to hesitate for just a half second, and he delivers a strike between a couple of guys in the back end.
Big hit by Chandler Rivers, who's their best cornerback. So Morris on target right out of the gate. Looks for the check down for Jamari Taylor. There's a flag down. The ball's out of the end of the play. Duke has the ball. For the moment, it's a fumble. Recovered by Jaden Francois. Well, there is a flag down. Manny Diaz wants to know what it's about.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty. 29th first down.
Huge break for Tony Elliott. Chandler Rivers called for the penalty. Virginia gets the ball back, and they'll move well into Duke territory.
And Rivers down trying to defend Edgerrin, and clearly puts that right hand into the face mask, and just a completely unnecessary play, too, by the veteran corner.
He was second team all-conference, senior from Beaumont, Texas. Very good player. One of the all-time leaders at Duke in interceptions and pass breakups. And they're likely without Kamari Robinson, who plays a lot at the other corner. He's been battling a back injury. Jonathan Patke, the defensive coordinator, said if he played at all tonight, it would just be spot duty. So Landon Callahan is on the field. Redshirt freshman number 21. He'll see most of the action at the other corner. Harrison Whaley, the backup to Jamari Taylor, got 3. Morris started his career at Oklahoma 1 year there, 3 at TCU, last year at North Texas, and he's had a very nice first season at Virginia.
Well, the numbers won't blow you away. You obviously just have to watch the games and see how he impacts the other 10 guys offensively, how he buys time and helps his offensive line, how he's smart and cerebral in getting through his progressions. He makes everybody better, and he's really the only reason why Virginia's in this game.
He's a terrific thrower on the move. He pitches it to Whaley, drags tacklers with him. Trey Freeman made the stop. And when we spoke with the Duke defensive coaches, Jonathan Patke, Manny Diaz, Virginia lining up quickly. So job one tonight is to cage Morris, keep him in the pocket. He throws the quick hitter out wide to Harrison Whaley for a first down. The tempo effective for UVA.
And I like the use of tempo. You just sat on the sideline for 10 game minutes. With Duke's opening drive, you can kind of jumpstart the engine if you utilize tempo.
And they went a little too fast on the right side of the offensive line.
Full start offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Drake Metcalf, the right guard.
And he just gets a little bit too quick right here. There's the clap, and he anticipates it just a little too soon.
Like Duke, it is a veteran offensive line. Particularly strong on the left side of the line. Both Mikhail Boley and Noah Josie, left tackle and guard respectively, were third team all conference. The center Brady Wilson, second team all ACC. Whaley again behind that offensive line. Good call by Des Kitchings, their offensive coordinator, on 1st and 15. The run yields 11.
And they are a really balanced football team for Des Kitchings. And I think Chandler Morris is terrific, but these running backs, both of them, outstanding.
Nothing doing that time for Whaley. He's dropped for a 1-yard loss by Tyshawn Reed, the defensive end. Trey Freeman also there.
It's kind of the identity of the Duke football team. They are very disruptive and aggressive, almost to their own detriment from time to time. They'll give up some big plays. They'll bust some coverages, but they're also going to make a lot of plays in your backfield with that disruptive defensive line.
There's Jonathan Patke, the defensive coordinator. They've struggled for a lot of the year on defense, particularly with pass coverage. Morris, they caged him in that time and dropped him back at the 28-yard line. Wesley Williams was there. And the other end, Vincent Anthony nearby as well for a 5-yard sack.
This is perfect execution with the pass rush. Watch both defensive ends. They don't get pushed past the quarterback. They stop when they get on the same level, and then they turn and flatten to go in, which leads Morris to have absolutely no room to operate.
There's a long field goal try for Will Bettridge. Accurate kicker. Doesn't have a huge leg, and that one's no good. From 45 yards, which is 2 yards shy of his career high. So Virginia sees its first drive end with a missed field goal. 7-0 Duke in the first quarter. Watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week, the ACC Championship from Charlotte, hosting this game for the 15th time in the 21 years. We've talked several times about the contrast with the regular season meeting 3 weeks ago. In that game, Duke had 3 3-and-outs to start the game after Virginia marched down the field with the opening kickoff. They didn't have a first down of their 4th possession. They went right down the field on the opening drive tonight. Had 5 first downs on their way to the touchdown. A collision. Samir Higgins ran into some of his own buddies, and Ethan Minter was there to drop him for the UVA defense.
It was a terrific start offensively for Duke by utilizing some quick passing game, some underneath throws, some catch and runs, mixed a screen in, ran the ball a couple times, and it felt like Virginia was a little passive on that first drive, and here to set the tone in the second, getting a little more aggressive towards the line of scrimmage.
A minute to go in the opening quarter. Darian Mensah intercepted, underthrew his intended receiver, and it was picked off by Corey Costner. Just a poorly thrown ball, well short of Cooper Bargate.
And you're going to see Mensah's eyes straight ahead trying to hold off the defender. Look at the line of his helmet, straight ahead. He never locates the underneath presence. He never sees it. He gets his eyes there too late, and by that point, he's already made the decision to throw the ball, and it was a really poor decision at that. And in an effort to try to talk somebody out of it by utilizing his eyes, it results in the first takeaway of the game.
Second interception for the freshman from Baltimore, Costner. Morris comes out rolling out on first down, fires to the sideline and caught. Jamal Edrin near the first down marker.
Edrin's a big body on the outside, very physical wide receiver. Great presence with those toes in bounds, understanding where he's at on the field.
And just short of the first down with a 9-yard gain. Final seconds of a very fast-moving opening quarter. Just the second possession for Virginia. Lots of moving and finger pointing.
Looked like the Duke defender jumped, and the left guard for a second thought about moving and decided not to at the last minute. And then he did.
Full start offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So with all that movement in the trenches, it was the wide receiver, Edrin, who's called for the penalty. Or did he mean to say 77? It sounded like he said 7.
And watch, I mean, the Duke defender moves, and there's a hesitation. And the hesitation takes too long, and that's what results in the false start as opposed to the offsides.
They might not snap it again. They won't. Virginia ran 8 plays on offense in the first quarter. Duke leads 7-0. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome back here to Charlotte, joined now by Duke head coach Manny Diaz. You guys were able to hold Virginia scoreless in their first drive. How do you do that again here?
Well, we got to play with our backs against the wall, right? Red zone defense, red zone stops. Got a second down and beat him right now. Got a chance to get him into third down.
Thank you, Coach. Sean?
Defensive-minded coach Manny Diaz's background as a defensive coordinator. Second year as head coach at Duke. He spent 3 years as the head man at Miami. 2nd and 6. Matt Austin believes they did get that penalty right. Legal procedure penalty against Virginia. Jamari Taylor taken down from behind just shy of the line to gain by Aaron Hall.
I know that they haven't had a lot of offensive snaps. That was just their 9th, but that's the first carry for Jamari Taylor. Whaley, the other back, has 4. They need to involve the ACC's leading rusher.
He picked up 4 yards on that carry to get over 1,000 for the season. First Virginia player to do that since Jordan Ellis in 2018. Lots of movement again. Luke Mergott for Duke.
Offside defense with contact, number 34. 5-yard penalty results in the first down.
And he was offside to give them the first down.
And the Subway rep cam shows you that Mergott trying to anticipate the snap and shoot the gap, and the slight hesitation with the snap count and adjusting the cadence allowed him to jump in the neutral zone.
Mergott was a deep backup when the year began, but they lost Nick Morris to a broken leg. One of the leaders of their defense, the 4th game of the year, and Mergott's been terrific. Really been a lifesaver for this Duke defense. On the check down, Jamari Taylor. Nifty run after the catch and a touchdown. Chandler Morris, the touchdown pass. Taylor, it's his first touchdown reception of the season. He's a very good receiver out of the backfield. 40 catches for the year. For the first time he took one into the end zone. Will Bettridge ties the game with the extra point. Set up by the interception.
And this is just beautifully done. Taylor's out in the flat. There's an unblocked defender on the end of the line of scrimmage that Morris is responsible for. So he has to get outside him, get with, and then look at the run after catch. I mean, Taylor is so agile laterally. He does this every single week. Right foot right there, makes a miss. And Callahan, who's filling in for Robinson, not normally a starter, but does play some. A big whiff on the tackle leads to the touchdown.
For Jamari Taylor, as Molly told you at the beginning of the telecast, out of high school, he was a quarterback here in the Charlotte area. Walked on at NC Central, an FCS team in Durham, not far from Duke, as a matter of fact. And had a very good career there after taking a couple of years to establish himself. He had a 1,000-yard season last year. Went in the portal. The Virginia coaches liked what they saw, and they really fell in love with him when he came to the campus. As a matter of fact, the grounds, I should say, at UVA. Des Kitching said, for a little bit, we thought it was almost too good to be true. He was such a likable person. But that's who he is.
Yeah, and I think he's a guy that I think appreciates everything he has. To start your career at an FCS school as a walk-on, to now playing in a championship setting in December with a chance to go to the college football playoff. I mean, he is fired up for this opportunity, has made the most of it at UVA.
So now Mensah, his interception, set up the short field for Virginia. They needed just 23 yards to score the game-tying touchdown. Nate Shepard did well to get a yard. Mitchell Melton, Daniel Rickert, defensive ends, part of the very good defensive front for Virginia.
Larry Mensah really needs to kind of settle back into the game. He had a beautiful opening drive, and he's still a young player, but he's been in this spot before. How does the young man bounce back? And you have a list of plays that you go to called GBOT plays, get back on track plays. Expect Johnny Brewer to dial one of those up here to get his quarterback back in the flow of the game.
Given plenty of time, dumps it off over the middle for Shepard, fighting for every inch. 2 yards short of the first down. Mensah's touchdown pass made it all 13 games this season, which he's thrown at least one touchdown. That is the longest consecutive game streak in a season. Of course, most seasons in their history, they didn't play 13 games. Overall, the only longer touchdown pass streak in Duke history is 17 in a row by Ben Bennett back in 1982 and 83. Mensah's had a history-making first season at Duke. Virginia crowds the line with Castle in there. They knew he was going to get the call on third down and short, and they stuffed him. Led by James Jackson, the leader of that defense, a fifth-year player who's been through a lot during his time in Charlottesville.
And a great job, too, by the defensive tackle, Hammond, number 91, who's able to penetrate right inside that left guard, kind of forced the back to move just a bit where his backer's there to clean it up.
Jackson, in a span of a little over a year, had, oh, there's a fake punt on a short snap, and Duke executes it to pick up the first down. With a 7-yard gain, they short snapped it to Kevin O'Connor, who's a defensive end, and he converted.
And this was really well done, too. I mean, you're going to see blocking up front, too, by Duke's defensive end, Wesley Williams. So 2 DNs going straight ahead. The snapper even makes a little block for him as well. Just tremendous opportunism there by Manny Diaz's punt unit.
Good block by Curtis Cooper, the snapper, and good snap on the short snap. So now the drive continues, and Nate Shepard gets a couple. Just to finish what we were saying about Jackson, the linebacker, span of a little over a year, he had shoulder surgery, back surgery, ankle surgery. Wasn't really sure if he'd be able to play again. I realize I'm going to have aches and pains the rest of my life, but he's played and played very well. He moved to middle linebacker from weak side linebacker when they lost Cam Robinson a couple of weeks ago.
He's been great and does a great job of communication, too. They run a lot defensively, and it's all on his shoulders to make sure they communicate properly.
On 2nd and 9, Mensah surrounded, got it off, and a nice diving catch made by Cooper Barkate. Barkate's in his first year at Duke after 3 at Harvard. He graduated in 3 years from Harvard with a degree in economics. Wants to make a lot of money in private equity someday, and he probably will. Wanted to play at a little higher level of football. Harvard has an outstanding program in the Ivy League. He was on a couple of championship teams.
Think you can write your own ticket with a Harvard and Duke degree?
That's the daily double. He's in the prestigious Fuqua School of Business at Duke right now. 113 catches for Harvard in 3 years. Here's Shepard. Dragged down by Corey Costner, the man who had the interception a moment ago. But not before they picked up the first down just shy of midfield on a 6-yard play.
And this is a great effort here by Shepard. Let's see if he gets it, because it looked like he was going to be down short, but he extends the ball with his left arm, and it looked like he was on top of that defender that was making the tackle. So he wasn't down. It does look like he did have the line to gain. Just a tremendous effort by the running back.
And good blocking by Andrell Anthony, the wide receiver, number 1. He's been out of the lineup lately with an upper body injury.
Player stepped out. When we look at the high left end zone, if that foot steps out. So once that foot steps out.
Okay, I'm here. They're rolling on the field.
You're hearing
Okay, so
the
on the field's a first
ACC
So
Game
what we're
Day
gonna be
Control
doing is
Center.
We can see that the ball crosses.
And I love this. I think all college football fans do. The transparency of the replay process is there in communication with the on-the-field referee.
And we're looking right now at that high left end zone, and we're looking to see where the ball is when that happens, when that foot comes out.
I see.
Right
He's
now,
got the black laces. Yes.
Right. So when we're looking at this, we're trying to be able to look to see when the ball sticks out, and then when the foot touches out of bounds.
Okay.
So based off of this look, yes. The ruling on the field is that the line to gain is a first down, correct?
Correct.
So right now we're looking at these, and we're trying to be able to sync these, and then the best look we're going to have is the high left end zone.
Yes.
And then you're going to see that foot here. So right there, we have it synced here with the high left end zone. Keep going. That foot is out of bounds.
Yes.
And based off of that, we're going to stow it there, go back a little bit. Right when that foot touches, based off of this and the sync, we can see that this player is short of the line to gain.
Yes, by a half a yard, right?
By a half a yard.
Got it.
So we're going to reset it, and we're going to make it 4th and a half a yard line.
At the
and we're
49.
going to put it at the, at the 48 and a half.
Correct, yes, 48
and a half.
Gotcha.
And then Max, just set this one yourself, and we'll be in a good place.
Okay, 4th down and a half a yard at the 48 and a half.
Yes.
Got it. Good work.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
After further review, the runner was out of bounds and the ball was a half a yard short of the line to gain. It will be 4th down at the 48 and a half yard line.
So instead of a first down, it's 4th down and a half yard. And again, a tip of the cap to Commissioner Jim Phillips, Al Riveron, who runs the officiating, the ACC, and everybody involved. This is a huge hit. And everybody in college football. Why wouldn't you do this?
Yes, adopt it universally. It takes away, just give us the transparency, and that way you can eliminate all the thoughts of conspiracy. No, you just saw him go through the process. It's seamless, and it's effective. I hope that we do utilize it all over college football.
So here's the 4th down. They converted on the fake punt. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down tonight. They have the sledgehammer Castle behind Mensa to the right. And they give it to him for a first down. Crossed midfield before he got driven back.
I mean, you just watch him run behind his pads. I know he's listed at 215, but man, he plays bigger than that. The way he can just push the pile.
11 rushing touchdowns this season. When they get down around the goal line, he powers them in. He had a 3-touchdown game against NC State. He had 3 rushing touchdowns at North Carolina, all of them from 1 yard out, including the game-winning touchdowns. They came from behind to win in Chapel Hill. And he shows he can do more than just get a yard. Some nice footwork. Played in 53 games at Appalachian State. He's from right there in Boone, North Carolina, the home of App State.
He's a great fit for this offense, too. Great protection as well. And I'm loving what I'm seeing right now from Johnny Brewer, the offensive coordinator. The amount of balance they've created. Early in the season, first 8, 9, 10 games, way reliant on the pass. But these last 2, they're averaging 41 rushing attempts a game these last 2 games, and it's really helping this offensive line.
And they put up a lot of points in those games, including the regular season finale. And they scored 49 against Wake Forest. Mensa stripped, the ball knocked out of his hand by Daniel Rickert. Duke got it back, but a big loss on the play. Back near the 47-yard line. Rickert, a 6th-year player in his first year at UVA after 5 at Tennessee Tech.
And just a beautiful rush, too, with the spin move working against Fina, the left tackle. They're probably going to have to help these tackles a bit. These defensive ends are disruptive. They're fast. And this is a spin move off the edge that I'm not sure what you ought to do outside of just holding the guy. They have a tight end there to kind of talk him out of it. But watch how he sets it, spins it, and turns the edge.
Goes as a sack for UVA, their first of the night for a 9-yard loss. Ments on 3rd and 14. Deep ball, single coverage. Diving catch made by Samir Higgins.
try to take away a possible replay review. That looks like a catch. He got behind Jordan Robinson in coverage. They snap it quickly and give it to Castle, who gets 3 after a 35-yard pass play.
Just a beautiful throw, too. On 3rd and long, you're playing super soft coverage, and still you're able to get Hagans behind the defender, and the throw was perfectly to the outside shoulder, and just wonderful execution in the passing game.
Mensa came into tonight with 52 completions of 20 yards or more, 3rd most in the country. Drew Mestamaker of North Texas, Jaden Mayaba of USC, the only quarterbacks with more. He's a terrific deep ball thrower. Shepard stayed on his feet and scores. Nate Shepard, the go-ahead touchdown. And Todd Polino adds the extra point. 10th rushing touchdown of the season for Shepard. The fake punt kept the drive going. And then Shepard added to his school record for a single season for touchdowns by a freshman.
Capital One halftime report minutes away. Booger McFarland, Kevin Nagani, Heather Dinich going to join us live to give us an idea what the committee's thinking right now watching these games, as well as we're going to discuss the Big Ten Championship in action. Right now, what are you seeing from Duke's offense?
Duke has been very aggressive. The fake punt, they're controlling the ball. Darian Mensah so far, other than the pick, he's been the best player on the field. I love how aggressive they're playing this game.
Time of possession, 18 minutes to 5 minutes, favored by Duke. Back to you, Sean.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Fair catch made by Charles Harris. Duke playing like a team that has nothing to lose. As we said, they didn't even expect to be here. When they lost to Virginia 3 weeks ago, they had a 10% chance of making it here. Unfortunately for them, their chances of making the college football playoff are way less than that, even with a win tonight, because they'll be an 8-5 team. Top 5 highest ranked conference champions get a berth into the playoff, and almost certainly Tulane and James Madison, in addition to here's Chandler Morris running away from the rush. They didn't cage him in that time. He got 8. Of course, the Big Ten, the SEC, and the Big 12 champions are all going to be in. So the 4th and 5th highest ranked conference champions would be Tulane and James Madison. Duke hoping that they could convince the committee they're deserving of it by virtue of their victories. They have 8 against Power 4 competition. James Madison wouldn't have any, but then again, you can't win if you don't play them. Their one loss was in a very tight game against the Louisville team earlier in the year that was healthy and playing very well.
And the committee has emphasized that this year there will be additional weight on strength of schedule. So there is, in the event in which Duke wins this game, there is an argument to be made on their behalf. But the down points, the 5 losses, probably going to be too much to overcome.
Here's Morris under duress and tried to check it down. It's an incomplete pass. Harrison Whaley ran after just to make sure it was not a live ball. So, of course, there is the prospect, if Virginia does not win this game, if they win, they're going to be in. Yes. They're already ranked number 17. They're ranked well ahead of Tulane and James Madison. But there's the prospect, if Duke wins tonight, no ACC teams in the 12-team field. Now, Miami may well get in. They're right there on the bubble with Notre Dame for sure. Perhaps with Alabama after the Tide lost today to Georgia in the SEC Championship game. Here's Jamari Taylor. Good move. And he got enough for the first down.
as he went spinning around for a 9-yard gain. Got away from Kendall Johnson.
Yeah, it's a good job just getting rid of the ball quickly, seeing Taylor in the flat. That's now twice they found him in the flat. He's excellent after the catch and does it again there.
Taylor on 3rd down and less than a yard picks up the first down for Virginia. Hoping for its school record 11th win of the season tonight. They've played football for 136 years. This is just their second 10-win season. Whaley, the running back, down to 4:20 to go in the half. Cameron Courtney was the motion man. He's wide open at the far sideline and went out of bounds. Short of the first down. He got 5. Just the 5th catch of the season for Courtney.
I think if you look at this Duke defense, traditionally they're very aggressive blitzing group. They're not doing that tonight, playing a little bit more sound and fundamental on that side of the ball.
Harrison Whaley flagged down. He's down short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. Tackled by Aaron Hall, graduate student from right there in Durham. Said it was a big thrill for him to play for his hometown university.
Number 60, 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
Drake Metcalf called for another penalty. He's played at Stanford and at UCF prior to UVA.
It looked like his hands were inside pretty good. Let's see as the defender gets away from it. Yes, right there. You see the right hand grab around the collar, and that's what results in the foul.
Another reason for the success of this Virginia program, the transfer portal is huge. 32 first-year transfer players, including Morris to Taylor, both first-year transfers. And a big story, perhaps undertold, Greg, around the country. They got an influx of donations, millions of dollars. They won't say exactly how much, but it's significant, to quote Tony Elliott, from anonymous donors. They don't know who it came from. He said, we're going to go and try to find a quarterback, upgrade the offensive line. When they got the money, they upgraded at several other positions. They improved their nutrition program considerably. And he said, I don't know who to thank. I want to thank the people who gave the money, but I don't know who they are. 3rd down and 9, and the pass is batted out of midair and almost intercepted. Andrew Pellicciata tried for the interception of the fluttering ball after it was tipped.
It looked like Kendall Johnson, number 42, got that left arm up and got a piece of it.
So here's the first punt for Daniel Sparks. Will they punt? Duke's already executed a fake punt. Sparks, second team all ACC this year, led the conference 47.3. That's high and long and in the end zone. Too long. 52-yard punt. 2:55 to go till halftime. 2-time by Steelers and Ravens, and the unveiling of the 12-team field. The committee has some tough decisions to make.
Every year, it always feels like there's 2 or 3 teams that are right there on the bubble, all with great arguments.
Well, this is only the second year of the 12-team field.
I know, but
back
even
to the 4-team fields, there were arguments as well. You'd think it would be easier with 12, but there's still going to be debates because some very good teams are going to be left out. You know, last year I really didn't feel that bad for the teams that got left out because they just didn't do enough. But this year there are some teams that have had terrific seasons that should be rewarded and aren't going to be because there just isn't enough room. Nate Shepard, the ball carrier. When you think about the teams outside right now, they probably aren't getting the Vanderbilts in Texas, among others.
And one of 3 being out between Bama, Notre Dame, and Miami. Every single one of those teams are outstanding.
Injured player after a 2-yard rush by Shepard. Timeout. The Darian Mensah family here tonight in Charlotte. Naomi Mensah, the mom, To our left, sending a text, is Darian Mensah's twin sister, Grace. He's 8 minutes older. She's an athlete as well, a soccer player at the University of Oregon. It's a family that's overcome an awful lot to get here tonight. Darian and his siblings, for the most part, raised by Naomi as a single mom. For a while, they struggled to make ends meet, lived in low-income housing. Naomi filed for bankruptcy at one point. She said the hardest part was going to the local church to get bags of food so the family could eat. Darian Mensah transferred from Tulane to Duke for a 2-year deal, reportedly for more than $7 million. Obviously a life-changing experience for the Mensah family. He is so grateful to his mom for all she did to give him the chance to play college football. 2-minute timeout in the ACC Championship Game presented by Subway. We're 2 minutes of game time away from the Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway coming up at the half. Stay tuned. Watched 2 deserving students compete for a life-changing grand prize of $100,000 in tuition from Dr. Pepper. And some great commercials featuring our Molly McGrath that have chronicled some of the stories of previous winners of that tuition money and how life-changing it is.
It's amazing. My favorite thing, and I'm obsessed with Dr. Pepper. My favorite thing they do, man, is change those lives at halftime on championship weekend. Just incredible stuff.
And the Fansville ad's pretty good, too. 2-minute timeout. Maddox Marcellus still not on the field for Virginia. And that's a problem because he became a starter when Cam Robinson went out.
Timeout.
So now they have Caleb Hardy, who's ordinarily a safety, playing linebacker, number 26. 1-yard run for Nate Shepard.
Tony Elliott opting to call that timeout, trying to steal some points before the half, go 2 for 1, knowing they get the ball to come out in the second half. But the offense has struggled to find much rhythm throughout most of this game, and they're being outpossessed by more than 10 minutes. 19-24 to just 8:41. So a big down here for the defense to give their offense a chance.
John Rudzinski, the defensive coordinator, with an important play call. Rudzinski, a graduate of the Air Force Academy, did tours of duty in Afghanistan and Kuwait. On 3rd down and 7, Mensah in trouble, got it off to Shepard, but he gets belted down with a very short gain, and Tony Elliott's going to use another timeout. Rudzinski brought pressure. Kazim Moore got right in the face of Darian Mensah.
This is really well done. They bring a 4-man rush. They invite the screen, but it's a great job defensively there by Jacob Holmes, number 23, who sees it immediately, does not engage in the rush, drops back, and makes the play. Just great eyes, great recognition, and a good stand by the Hoos defense.
And Caleb Hardy, as mentioned, has come into the game for Maddox Marcellus, was involved in the tackle. So here's 4th down. They've already converted the 3 4th downs, including the fake punt on their last touchdown drive. Will Cade Reynoldson punted away, sophomore from Australia. Be the first punt if he punts it. Dangerous Cam Ross back deep. And he's going to call for a fair catch. He got contacted by his own man. It was Corey Costner who got knocked back into the return man after a collision with Deshaun Stone.
And that was big right there. Pretty well done there too defensively by, looks like Moore, blocking him into the receiver. But my goodness, oftentimes in a collision like that leads to a big blow up and a fumble.
That's a legal play according to Matt Austin. It was Jaden Moore, the other number 8 for Duke. who was involved in the contact. So a minute 43. No timeouts for UVA, starting from their own 30. Pressure coming from his left. He dumped it off to the right. It's incomplete. Taylor couldn't hang on. And it's probably just as well for Virginia with Luke Mergott right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one where you want him to drop it because it's going to take a ton of time off the clock for minimal gain at all. And for Chandler Morris, they brought pressure on that first down play. Not anticipating blitz here on second down on back-to-back snaps. So you might have a little more time to operate and find a man downfield.
We've run only 19 offensive plays in the half against the four-man rush. Back shoulder throw caught. Jamal Edrin yanked down, 46-yard line, first down. Landon Callahan the tackle, 16 yards, and Morris gets them up to the line quickly. Uncertain of what to do, and he elects to throw it away. He's a very smart player, the son of a coach. His dad, Chad Morris, longtime high school coach in Texas, went to Clemson as an offensive coordinator where he was on the same Dabo Swinney staff as Tony Elliott. Matter of fact, when Chad left to become the head coach at SMU, Tony Elliott became the play caller for a couple of teams that won national championships. So Elliott has known Chandler Morris since he was 10 years old. Chad's here tonight. He's taking a year off from coaching to watch his son play. Chandler on target, short of the first down. Down is Trell Harris at the 49. They got 5. They need 5 more on third down.
A little left hash, though. You got some room to the right, and it's looking like man coverage from Duke.
Morris with pressure on the middle. Ball batted up in the air, and it falls incomplete. Wesley Williams got his hand on it. One of the leaders of this team.
And a great job by Wesley Williams. Knows he's not going to get there. Holds up the rush just for a half second. Puts the left arm up to make a play. Excellent job there. And the defensive line for Duke has done a terrific job all night long of caging in that quarterback and not allowing much room.
Williams will graduate next week with a degree in public policy from Duke. There's the second Daniel Sparks punt with a minute to go. Cooper Barkate back for it. It goes over his head and into the end zone. So here's a look at the college football playoff rankings that came out on Tuesday night. And a lot of storylines there. Alabama, things that stand out to me. To me, the committee kind of played its hand with an eye toward what they might be thinking about this weekend as they picked the field. They moved Alabama ahead of Notre Dame, even though both teams won last week. Notre Dame hammered Stanford. Alabama won against Auburn. Was that in part to protect Alabama should they lose to Georgia today?
Yes, I think it was to an extent because the committee did this last year. The same argument was made on behalf of SMU. They will not be overly penal to a team that is forced to participate in the conference championship game. They do not want to de-incentivize conference championship participation. So I think Alabama's comfortably in the field, might drop down to 10, which is big when it comes to the evaluation between Miami and Notre Dame.
Yes, that'll be another big question. Straight ahead is Anderson Castle. Those rankings are brought to us by AT&T. 5-yard gain for Castle. No timeouts left for Tony Elliott. It's looking like it's going to come down to 3 teams for 2 spots. Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami. I'm not quite as sure as you are that Alabama's definitely in. Of course, they were left on the bubble last year, as was Miami. Castle for 5 yards and a first down. Mensa looking like he now wants to take a shot, forced to run. Gets to the 32. Will Duke use a timeout? It appears Manny Diaz has.
Timeout. Duke.
But what if they had not moved Alabama ahead of Notre Dame this week and Alabama lost like they did today? Would you still say they wouldn't punish team that lost in its conference championship game?
I wouldn't say that, because if you look at what's going to likely happen to BYU, they're probably going to drop down, which could allow Miami to get right next to them. So no, I think that was preventative to an extent, but also a correction based on how things have gone for the Crimson Tide this year. 2-2 against top 25 football teams. That's the same amount combined for both Miami and Notre Dame. And of course, Miami with the head-to-head, that's going to be the biggest game in college football from a debate standpoint, that week 1 matchup on Labor Day Sunday.
Some Miami fans here. You know, they're the best team in the ACC. They're not playing the championship game, and I do think these tiebreaker procedures will change going forward as a result. That number 12 ranking, the highest among any of the ACC teams. Virginia second. Duke not ranked. James Madison put into the rankings at number 25, and you think they deserve that. Again, the committee seemed to be saying, hey, Duke, even if you win, we've got James Madison ranked ahead of you, and they won. Landon Danley chased Mensah out of bounds with 10 seconds to go. We'll get much more into the selection process in the second half tonight as this game unfolds. But the big story here is if Virginia wins, they're going to be in the college football playoff as one of the 5 top-ranked conference champions. If they lose, Duke's not going to be in. Virginia's not going to be in. Miami would have to get in as an at-large team to be the only ACC team in.
Which is absolutely possible. And frankly, if it's them being measured against Notre Dame, which is where I think the conversation will be, they should be ahead of Notre Dame.
Well, again, did they put those 2 teams next to each other now so that they could go to that head-to-head? You know, they've had Notre Dame ahead of Miami in all the rankings.
Yes.
And they still do. But the common theory seems to be that they'll go to the head-to-head if they're right up against each other. Miami won the game in the opening game of the year. And I also wonder psychologically for the committee, if Duke wins tonight, they're not going to be in the field. Are you more inclined to put Miami in because you don't want to have a 12-team playoff without any team from one of your power conferences, the ACC?
I would like for that not to be a factor, but it could very well be. I mean, these are humans, and that is part of the evaluation process, is have representation, and the ACC is, without question, one of the 4 best leagues. So to not have either their champion nor their best team in the field would be a difficult thing to justify.
Cade Reynoldson's punt ends the half. Chandler Morris and Virginia down by a touchdown. Duke with the lead. Teams that lead at halftime have won 16 of the previous 20 ACC championship games. Even Greg could figure out that means 4 of them were tied at the half. Here's Molly.
Coach, you deferred the start of the game, and then Duke took control of that first half. What went into that decision?
Yeah, well, analytics tell you that you're going to get more possessions. They did a good job on that first drive, but we jumped offside on 4th and 8, right? That put their offense back on the field. That resulted in the 16 plays, right? And then we have another 4th down. We're getting off the field. We allow a fake punt with our safe team out there. So we just got to calm down. Too many penalties, right? We just got to relax and go play football. It's, the least important thing is to score at halftime. We get the ball. We can tie it up. And let's just go play football and go win us a game.
How do you get into a better rhythm on offense?
Yeah, one, we just got to make the routine plays. We got to get their hands down. They're doing a good job of getting up in the throwing lanes. We've dropped a couple balls. Guys just got to step up and play. We're going to get it figured out.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Sean.
All right, Molly, thank you. 23 plays for UVA, second fewest in an ACC title game in the first half. Duke leads 14-7. Tony Elliott's teams come from behind to win some close games this year. The Capital One halftime report now. Here's Kevin.
You're watching Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
And this is the ACC Championship Game presented by Subway. From uptown Charlotte, North Carolina on a chilly night, with the temperature hovering around 40 degrees. Duke leading Virginia 14-7 as we get ready for the second half. Manny Diaz's team took control of the game early, took the opening kickoff, went down the field to drive of 9 minutes and 38 seconds. A big reason why they had a better than 2-to-1 time of possession edge over the first half. Held UVA to 115 yards on just 23 plays. In the regular season meeting won by Virginia, third down was huge. Tonight it's fourth down on both touchdown drives for Duke. They converted at least one fourth down, and on the second one they converted a fourth down on a fake punt.
Yeah, the fourth downs were enormous, and great call on the fake punt by Manny Diaz, trusting his offense to go out there and convert to extend drives, but 4 for 9 on third down as well, plus those 3 fourth down conversions. I mean, in get off the field situations for Virginia's defense, they're just 2 for 9. So that's big, I think, for Virginia here in the second half to be better on third down and to get off the field.
And you heard Tony Elliott in the conversation with Molly McGrath on the way to the locker room. No panic. His team's come from behind. They've won 3 overtime games this season. He said Chandler Morris brought a lot of things, including a belief that they could win any game. Manny Diaz said the same thing about his quarterback. It's a touchback, and here's the drive recap by Copilot by Microsoft.
Yeah, and it was a great job early by Duke, setting the tone with a long 9-minute drive, and then Virginia made a play, intercepted Mensah. They paid it off a couple moments later with a nice touchdown run off to the catch by Taylor, and then the fake punt, one of the biggest plays of the game there in the first half of that football game, and they continue to force missed tackles by Virginia en route to the end zone.
Nate Shepard, the go-ahead touchdown. Here's Cam Ross in trouble and drop for a big loss by Wesley Williams. Back at the 13-yard line. They lost 12 on the first play of the second half.
And just a great job by Wesley Williams staying wide. Looks like he's going to have to run through a lot of traffic. He does. He slips inside the tight end Ennis and then goes and makes the play in the backfield. What a way to start the second half for the Blue Devils.
Chandler Morris, 10 out of 15 for 77 yards in the first half. Deep ball, open receiver, caught, and a great job by Ross to hang on as he got popped twice. First down UVA to the 42-yard line on a 29-yard play. And Deshaun Stone slow to get up. He was one of the 2 who laid the hit on Ross. Landon Callahan the other.
For defensive player injury.
What a throw there by Chandler Morris. Deep in his own territory between 2 defenders. Gets it up and down perfectly. Got to deliver that seam ball under 22 yards. If it goes beyond that, that's when the safety can get involved. And just a moment later, and that's a big collision. And how about Ross hanging onto that ball as Stone goes down and kind of motion to the sideline looking at his shoulder. That was a massive hit in the back end.
He's an important player for that Duke defense. Jonathan Patke, the coordinator, said he loves the way he plays. Nothing flashy. Sophomore from Asheville, their second leading tackler. That 29-yard completion, the biggest play of the night for Virginia.
Big time throw, and now they really got to get Jamari Taylor going a little bit now. Just 2 carries in the first half of that football game.
Didn't have the ball very much. It is Jamari Taylor. Nice haul on the left side. And he skips ahead near midfield. There's Taylor McGregor.
We are going to keep being aggressive. That is what Manny Diaz told me at the half. 3 for 3 on fourth down in the first half, with both of their touchdowns coming off of fourth down conversions, and he wants that to continue. He also pointed, this is a low possession game, so really important for us to get a stop here. And if there was any criticism, Sean, he said we would like to run the football better.
Coaches will always find something. Taylor dragged down just short of the first down. He's trying to lead Duke to their first ACC title since 1989. They actually shared it that year with Virginia. That was the UVA team that won the school record 10 games under George Welsh.
Duke, you got to be thrilled with how you played on defense in the first half. Didn't give up any big plays, and they were very sound throughout, which has not been the case all the time for this aggressive defense.
Taylor remains the running back. The view from umpire Cam. Direct snap to Taylor. They've used that over and over again to great success all season long. And they finally snuck in a pass. He threw a touchdown pass in their win against Virginia Tech to close out the regular season, dialed up by Des Kitchings.
I think Des Kitchings knows that Taylor's got to be more involved, and they got to get some possession. They got to snap the ball offensively and get those playmakers going, but Taylor's got to be a featured player in the second half.
Harrison Whaley, the ball carrier. Virginia's never won the outright ACC title. They do that by winning the championship tonight. They shared it, as we mentioned, in 1989 and in 1995 as well. Team that won 7-1 in the league, led by Mike Breaux, the quarterback. Dropped off for Whaley. Good tackle. 40-yard line run down by Luke Mergat. Held it to a 4-yard gain.
I think here, knowing where you're at on the field, probably 2 downs to get it now for Chandler Morris. And Duke in the first half did a great job of caging him in with their pass rush. They were not overly aggressive, and they forced him to operate from a condensed pocket. They got to continue that in the second.
3rd down and 6. Cam Ross went in motion. 3 receivers now to the right of Chandler Morris. Duke blitzes. Jamari Taylor ran past it, and if Kendall Johnson didn't make the tackle, could have been much more than just the first down for Virginia. Gain of 7 moves the chains.
Great job there getting upfield by Taylor.
Play action pass, design rollout. Morris on the move. 2 receivers down there, and he threw it between the 2 of them. Closest to it was Cam Ross, with Caleb Weaver, a 5th-year safety. First year at Duke as a transfer from Sam Houston.
And in this first matchup, the Duke defense, they blitzed constantly. And as a result, Chandler Morris, with his elusiveness, was able to create and buy time. And so far, Duke in coverage tonight has been outstanding. There haven't been any busts. There haven't been any poor pursuits. They've really done a nice job on that side of the ball, and they've dialed back the blitzes for the most part.
Deshaun Stone is back on the field now after he was helped off moments ago. Big run. Harrison Whaley taken down at the 16-yard line. Stone back in the game to make that big tackle with help from Caleb Weaver. 18 yards and a nice drive going for Virginia to open the half. They go at tempo. And Whaley inside the 15. He's a very good backup to Jamari Taylor. He rushed for 62 yards in their win at Duke.
And just was a great play a moment ago on the run. How about the block by Josie, the left guard? He's able to secure the defensive tackle, Watson, turn him a bit, and make a play.
Here's Whaley again, transfer from Wyoming. Wesley Williams there for Duke. Duke opened the first half with a 9-minute and 38-second drive. UVA's had this possession for more than 5 minutes.
And here on the 3rd and 4 on the left hash with a right-handed quarterback. I love moving the quarterback to his right. Chandler Morris is a very effective runner, so I'd sprint him out, change the launch point, because so far the standard pass rush has given them some problems.
He got outside the pocket regularly in the regular season win against Duke, was 7 for 13. Outside the pocket. Both numbers were season highs. It's a run for Jamari Taylor in a first down. And that's another staple. 3rd down, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. They run the ball a lot.
11, 12. I mean, they'll run it anywhere. They really trust their offensive line. And with the movement that you see from Duke, sometimes running gets the best option. The coverage has been good from the Blue Devils all night. There haven't been a lot of wide open receivers. So just see if you can lean on them and take advantage of them moving out of a gap.
Fourteenth play of the drive. Taylor dives ahead near the 2-yard line with a 3-yard gain. Luke Mergat first there for the Blue Devils defense. Darian Mensah waiting his turn now.
This is
a terrific first half.
Yeah, he was great in the first half outside of that interception. And here on second down, this is where I'd be alert for a little play action and keep an eye on the tight end, Ennis, number 0. He's the guy they like to feature with a quick throw out in the flat.
Out of the pistol now with Taylor, the running back. Murgott blitzed up the middle. Morris slips down for a loss. Aaron Hall there as Morris tried to duck away from him. Chandler lost 5 on the play. 3rd down and goal from the 7.
And they tried to do that little play to Ennis where they faked inside, roll him outside, but Ennis didn't get the call. He was blocking, so not on the same page there with his quarterback who was looking for his tight end. If you're Duke, you've done such a great job with the pass rush. Do not get overly aggressive here because Chandler Morris with a quarterback draw can kill you.
Another long drive in this football game. This one's consumed half of the 3rd quarter, and it's not finished yet. A Duke blitz. Morris scrambling for his life. Throws to the end zone. Incomplete. Mekhi Jones came on a safety blitz. And Manny Diaz said we're going to continue to be aggressive, and they are on all sides of the ball.
This is all out cover 0. Bring in the house. You're going to overload the protection. You know they don't have enough to block them. You just have to secure the quarterback, and Morris knows he's got to ditch it.
Here's Bettridge. Missed from 45. This is from 24. And it's good. On the 17th play of the drive, it yields 3 points. Excellent defense on that 3rd down play. The rush threw it off, and Deshaun Stone broke it up at the other end. V-Week at ESPN as we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research, game-changing research that saves lives. If you're able to donate, please do at v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. After the field goal for UVA, Elijah Slidebeck kicks off. It's a touchback. Here's Molly.
Well, at halftime, Virginia head coach Tony Elliott stood in the locker room and asked his team, do you still believe? And everyone answered yes. He said this is a one-possession game. This is where we're most comfortable. We've done this before, and we can take back control of this if we just cut down on those mistakes. Don't let our emotions take over. And good news for the Cavaliers, their linebacker Maddox Marcellus suffered a right shoulder injury, and he's expected to return, guys.
And he is on the field to start the half. UVA scoring drive, 17 plays, their longest to score points since November of 2020, a 17-play touchdown drive against Abilene Christian. A flag for a false start for the first snap of the 2nd half.
False start, offense, number 53.
For Duke.
Penalty, still 1st down.
Brian Parker, the right tackle. 2nd team all-conference. The same 5 offensive linemen have started every game this season for Manny Diaz. They're one of only 11 teams in the country that had that happen this year.
And I think they had a pretty good first half, too. They gave plenty of time to Darian Mensah to survey downfield. The next step, they ran the ball pretty well also. They created a lot of balance in the first half. Just one explosive pass play, though, and that's kind of the identity of this Duke offense.
Nate Shepard gets the call on 1st down. Rips through the hole and has a 1st down with a 13-yard gain. Donovan Platt made the tackle, transfer from Army.
And this was really nicely done. Watch the cut here by Shepard. Really well blocked. Good kick out there by the left guard, Bradley Smith. He breaks it to the outside, and Shepard fed a lot in that first half. 10 carries now for 45 yards against a good defensive front.
They spotted it on the 32, so a 12-yard gain. Here's 2nd and 3. Mensah deep ball for Barkay. He makes the catch. Cooper Barkay out of bounds, well into UVA territory at the 28-yard line. There's a flag back at
Duke players indicating it's against Virginia. It was thrown in what would be the secondary.
I think they grabbed Barcade's face mask as he was releasing on that slot fade.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 10. After this is the ball out from the end of the play, first down.
Jason Prevard called for the penalty. Still couldn't stop the 40-yard play.
Yeah, man coverage across the board, and Prevard grabs with the left hand of the face mask. Barcade goes right behind him, and another nice throw by Mensah on a downfield. Drags him to the outside shoulder. If you keep him upfield, it might be a touchdown, but great job tracking it there by Barcade. And there's the explosiveness, Sean, that Duke has thrived on all season long.
Barcade now over 1,000 yards receiving for the season. 10th player in Duke history to do that. Mensah, lots of room, takes the check down to Quayshawn Brown. Avoided a couple of tackles and made it to the 10. Prevard whiffed. He's had a tough couple of plays. Devin Neal came to his aid.
And this has been a bit of a problem for the Hoos here in the first 2.5 quarters of this football game. Just a lot of missed tackles. It led to 2 touchdowns, both touchdowns after a whiff by a defender. Another one there where it could have been no gain, maybe even a lost yardage play, and instead it's 2nd and 5.
Shepard again bounces outside. And they managed to tackle him at the 8. Devin Neal there again to hold it to a 2-yard gain. He's played at Baylor and Louisville. He was 3rd-team all-conference for Virginia this year.
Duke's very comfortable handing it off in 3rd down and short, but they take now their big back Castle out and put Shepard back in, which makes me think he could be involved in the passing game. They've had success with him getting him out in the flat. I'd keep my eye on the running back here if he gets outside and becomes a receiver.
4 out of 9 on 3rd down. They're 3 for 3 on 4th down. The draw for Shepard. Ran into a pile-up. Now what do you do? 4th down's been key all night. You've had a great night, 3 for 3, but the field goal also puts you back up by 7.
No, I go for it. I mean, if you look at their DNA, Duke's DNA, they're very aggressive. Top 10 team in the country when it comes to going for it on 4th down, especially in plus territory. But they now put the big back in, Castle, and he's the hammer. He's the battering ram. He'd be the guy I'd hand it to if I decide to run it.
Both touchdown drives tonight had a 4th down conversion. Can they do it again? They're in the pistol.
Timeout. Duke, their first time out of the half. Full media timeout.
They want to make sure they have the right play. It's a huge play with under 4 minutes to go as the 3rd quarter goes flying by. Manny Diaz and the Blue Devils up 14-10.
The ACC Championship, presented by Subway, is brought to you by IHG Hotels and Resorts.
Out of the timeout, the offense back on the field for Duke. Can they convert another 4th down? 4th down and 2 at the Virginia 7 with Duke up 14-10, 3:56 to go in the 3rd.
And they've had success running the ball on 4th down, so with them being 3 for 3, all 3 on running plays, I might look to maybe pop a quick screen. They'll start an empty formation.
Quayshawn Brown went in motion to the left, and Nate Shepard shifted back behind Mensah. And now he goes in motion. UVA showing blitz. James Jackson was dancing around the line. This is a huge call.
And it did look like the defender jumped in the neutral zone.
False start. Offense. Number 53. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Brian Parker called for another penalty.
And it did look like the defender kind of jumped in the neutral zone, leaning forward just ever so slightly.
No,
but did he ever cross over? I don't think he did.
It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
So now they send the field goal team out. Here's Todd Polino from 29 yards, his first attempt of the night. He's 6 for 6 this year inside 40 yards, and now a perfect 7 for 7. For the veteran kicker, senior from Cornelius, North Carolina, right here in the Charlotte area. 17-10 Duke, 3:53 to go in the third quarter. You're watching the Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Cap off your NFL week with Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Chargers. Plus a special Monsters Fun Day football version on ESPN2 and Disney Networks with an animated game transferred in real time into the iconic Monsters Inc. world in Monstropolis with Mike Wazowski leading the Eagles and Sully leading the Chargers. I know you'll be tuned into that with your kids.
I'll tell you, with a 6'4" and 1-year-old, you know which version of the broadcast we'll be watching on Monday. And so far for Duke's defense, they've done exactly what they want to do. They want to collapse the pocket. They want to cage Chandler Morris in and make him really uncomfortable. They've done a great job of that with a 4-man rush, with a 3-man rush, creating indecision and forcing him to get rid of the ball. They've also done a great job getting their hands up and tipping a couple passes as well. And then they bring the house to get off the field. Don't let him get outside, force him to the near side, and almost make an interception in the backfield. They've done a great job of disrupting the rhythm of the 24-year-old quarterback.
The average is 215.5 passing yards per game at 109 right now, late in the third quarter. Temperature down to 38 degrees now here in Charlotte, noticeably colder. Running through the cold air in his hometown, Jamari Taylor for a 15-yard run.
And you can tell what message was sent at halftime by Tony Elliott and his offensive coordinator, Des Kitchings. I mean, they are really committing to running the football. Jamari Taylor now 7 second-half carries, and that totals up over 50 yards now.
They give it to him again. Nice cut back to the left. Turned what might have been nothing for other backs into a 5-yard gain. Josiah Green made the tackle. Mammoth defensive tackle for Duke. There's Jamari Taylor. You said earlier, get him more involved. They have. They didn't have the ball much in the first half.
So far, that disruptive defensive front for the Blue Devils hasn't had much success. So they might have to put a safety in the box at some point, try to talk him out of the run game.
Des Kitching calls another run for Jamari Taylor. And again, made something out of what looked to be nothing. 4 more yards. Tony Elliott's had nice continuity on his coaching staff through his 4 years. Same coordinators, Kitchings on offense and on defense, John Rudzinski. It was a tough first 3 years. They went 11-23 while trying to build the program up, create their culture. Chance with a win tonight to match those 11 victories over the first 3 years in this one season and set the school record for wins in a year. 3rd down and 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Harrison Whaley. They are just playing good old-fashioned power football right now. 5-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, Duke is going to have to make an adjustment. They're still playing deep. They're clearly trying to keep everything in front of them. Don't want to give up the big play, but they're going to have to spin a safety down at some point because there's just way too much movement up front, and they haven't been able to penetrate like they usually do against the run.
In a difficult season for the Duke defense, they're having one of their best nights so far tonight. Blitz up the middle. Murgott apparently timed it perfectly. Morris got hit. He still fired a completion. Jamal Edrin, tough to take down inside the 30.
Morris paid the price as he got belted by Wesley Williams, who's had another very good night for Duke.
And this was outstanding job. Great pick up there by Taylor in protection. And it gets leveled, but somehow is still able to be accurate enough on the delivery to put it on the mark. That's a great play by Morris.
He's played hurt all year long. He injured his left shoulder, non-throwing shoulder in the opener. The win against Coastal Carolina. He said he's played with the pain all season long. It's been manageable. Then he had the concussion late in the year that knocked him out of the loss to Wake Forest. Taylor taken down after a 1-yard pickup. And they don't have to snap it again here in the third quarter against Jonathan Patke's defense if they choose not to.
And you've seen the adjustment now from Patke on the last couple snaps. You're seeing one extra defender in the box. And while Virginia's still committed to the run very much, they're now no longer playing with two high safeties. They're getting down a little bit closer, so Virginia's going to have to probably open it up through the air at some point and back them out.
The umpire cam giving America vertigo, but a good look as Morris retreats. And it's incomplete. Might have been a blessing for UVA that Whaley didn't catch it. That was likely to be a loss. Last play. That was the last play of the third quarter. Each team kicked a field goal. So still a 7-point lead for Duke. Our presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back at Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina, the ACC Championship Game, 21st edition. Tony Elliott and Virginia trying to win the ACC Championship Game for the first time, as is Duke. Duke leads 17-10. UVA has it, 3rd down and 9 at the Blue Devils' 28.
They're very comfortable running it in this down and distance.
And they do with Taylor. He broke a tackle. And now a decision to make. With 4th down upcoming, 4th down and 5. Trey Freeman had a chance to make a tackle near the line of scrimmage, perhaps even behind it. And he is the injured player. He's been banged up here late in the season. 5th-year senior from right there in Durham.
Looked as though when he went down, he kind of landed awkwardly on that right arm. It does look like he has a brace or something on that right shoulder, and that's what they're tending to. And right here, lands awkwardly right there as he tried to make the tackle and is in a lot of pain. Hopefully he's okay.
It gives Tony Elliott a little more time to decide what he wants to do here on 4th down and 5. They are in field goal range. Tony knows what it's like to win this ACC championship. He was on the coaching staff at Clemson when they won 6 ACC titles. They lost 1 while he was working under Dabo Swinney. So this is his 8th appearance in a championship game in the 21 years of this event. First time as a head coach. Looking for the biggest win of his head coaching career now in his 4th year. They're going for it on 4th and 5.
One thing you can expect from Duke is probably going to see a blitz here of some sort. Probably going to see pressure, try to force the ball out of Morris's hands quickly.
The opening seconds of the 4th quarter, a huge play. Morris going to the end zone in double coverage, and it's broken up. Trying to get it to Trell Harris. Deshaun Stone and Landon Callahan were there. And 4th down continues to be good to the Duke Blue Devils tonight.
It was a really good pass rush from Duke, and it kind of forced Morris to throw it up for grabs. Man coverage in the back end. It's well played by Stone, who's the free safety, goes over. But it was the hit and the pressure and the presence of the pass rush that forced him to have to get rid of it quickly. And Morris has been hit time and time again, this time by Wesley Williams, who won against the left tackle Boley.
You know, Wesley Williams has had a huge night
Morris was not sacked at all in the regular season meeting. Wasn't really even hit that much. He's been banged around tonight as they've kept him in the pocket. Nate Shepard ahead for a 4-yard gain. Duke has hardly had the ball here in the second half. Nate Shepard rips through a hole. First down.
This run game for Duke behind Nate Shepard is starting to get going a little bit too. There's an offensive line that does a great job, but I love the kick out here by Larson, the left guard. Goes and gets just enough of Melton to allow Shepard to squeak inside for another nice gain.
Biggest play calls of Johnny Brewer's tenure as offensive coordinator here at Duke in his second season. Gives the ball to Anderson Castle. Johnny Brewer grew up with Rhett Lashley, the head coach at SMU. They're great friends. And Brewer and the Blue Devils actually benefited from SMU's loss in the regular season finale at Cal that put Duke in this game.
What a job he's done tonight. And Rhett Lashley, I'm sure, is watching tonight, very proud of his young protege and good friend.
Although he'd rather be here himself.
I think, yes, I think there's probably, maybe he's not watching. I don't know. Surely he is. He's a football guy. Rhett, one of the best. But I love the plan that we've seen from Duke tonight. The commitment to running the football. They have 27 run plays against just 19 pass plays, completely abandoning what they've done in the past.
Castle again after a 7-yard run on first down, driving his legs, and he might have gotten the first down. Looks like he's about a foot short. And the clock goes under 12 minutes. Danny Diaz looking for his first win against a ranked team in his 2 years at Duke. He's 0-6, 0-3 this year. Darian Mensah has never defeated a ranked team. He was 0-3 at Tulane last year, 0-3 this year.
Big sequence here for Duke, and knowing Manny Diaz is traditionally a guy that wants to roll the dice, a guy that wants to take advantage of fourth down. You might have 2 downs to get it, even though that is very aggressive in a one-possession ball game on your side of the 50.
They're 4 out of 10 on third down. You like their chances with Castle. First down, Duke, leading the clock now with a 7-point lead. No team has ever come from 7 or more down in the fourth quarter in an ACC title game. That's the task facing Virginia right now.
Really starts with their defensive line. That's the strength of this team. They went to the portal, got all these great players along the defensive front. They've been terrific all year. They're a big reason why they're playing in the ACC Championship game. They got to find a way to stop the run, and they got to find a way to create a pass rush, because so far Mensah's had a very clean pocket tonight throughout this game.
Shepard backpedaling, and another quality gain on first down. 5 more. Even with a win, Duke very unlikely to be in the college football playoff. Manny Diaz will certainly make the case when the game is over if they win. But if they win, James Madison, 12-1, Sun Belt champions, almost certainly onto the college football playoff. What a tremendous job Bob Chesney has done in 2 years there. He's been a huge winner everywhere he's been. He's on his way to UCLA when this season is over for the Dukes.
Yeah, the Dukes have done a great job, and Manny Diaz, if they get this win, they just got to point to strength of schedule and scream it from the rooftops. That's the only thing that's in their favor.
Mensah, the ball's loose, and it's covered by Shepard. That was a fumble and a small loss on the play of a yard.
Tried to go RPO, and Mensah saying my bad right there as he tried to get rid of it. Instead, it was Shepard's left arm that knocked the ball out of his quarterback's hands, and this is where the pass rush for Virginia needs to show up. It's been quiet tonight. They haven't applied much pressure. They've only recorded 1 sack. They have to apply pass rush here and win on this 3rd and long.
Mensah steps away from the rush. Now he's in trouble. Throws on the run, and it is incomplete on the far sideline. A couple of the receivers there. Barcake, when Shepard also nearby. Emmanuel Carnley had the primary coverage for Virginia.
That's a great job by Virginia's defense. The defensive line provided the rush. They did a great job of containing as Rickert was about to make a play as well, but the coverage on the back end was very sticky. There was no room and nobody open for Mensah to find.
Duke held the ball for 5.5 minutes, but no points. And here's Cade Reynoldsson to punt for the 3rd time. Duke well positioned to down it inside the 5. They down it at the 1. 47-yard punt. Our crew deeply saddened as this week we lost a much-loved member of our crew. EVS operator Craig Sepko passed away unexpectedly on Thursday from a heart attack. He ran our end zone, line to gain pylon cams, a veteran of more than 20 years, and that's the perfect picture of him, always with a smile on his face. Been a very tough few days for all of us and his many friends, his family members. He was just 61 years old. Welcome back to the ACC Championship presented by Subway. Virginia slight favorite tonight. They were alone atop the ACC regular season standings at 7-1, but down by a touchdown. They've had a magical season. They have a 99-yard drive in them. They take just getting back to the line of scrimmage on 1st down. Jamari Taylor did.
Very difficult spot here for an offense naturally, but what you can do is you can utilize hard count. Utilize the hard count. See if you can get them jump off sides, give you 5 free yards, maybe a free play as well. And then sometimes too, probably going to see some man coverage on the outside. Go max protect and maybe take a shot. See if you can throw it over their head.
Burgott again trying to penetrate, and Taylor just did get out of the end zone. UVA being very careful here, and a little bit of anxiety for Booze fans as they try to get the ball out of the end zone on the handoffs.
Be very interesting to see what Patke does here, the defensive coordinator for Duke. He loves to bring pressure on 3rd down, but you do not want to leave your secondary vulnerable to a big play over the top. So I would anticipate coverage and see if they can get home with a 4-man rush.
Out of the end zone, Morris. And it's intercepted. Caleb Weaver picked it off. Nobody there in the blue of Virginia as Morris and his receivers were not on the same page. Second interception of the year for Caleb Weaver. And the first turnover of the night for Virginia. Morris looking up at the screen. Looked like he had 2 receivers breaking open, but the ball wasn't thrown anywhere near them. 8th career pick for the transfer from Sam Houston.
The ACC Championship is presented by Subway. Join the new Sub Club and get every 4th footlong free.
Moment ago, Chandler Morris just not on the same page with his wide receivers. You're going to see an in-breaking route here, another in-breaking route here, but the safety in the middle of the field is playing over the top. He thought someone was going to release vertical and go on a go route, and the reactions after the fact, it's almost like clearly not on the same page, but he was being consoled by his coach, by his teammates, and visibly frustrated with his own decision-making. So I'm not sure if that was on the wideout or on Morris, but clearly a big mistake.
One turnover for each team. Each quarterback's thrown one interception. Mensah trying to make it hurt immediately. Barkate the catch inside the 5. First and goal, Duke at the 3 after a 30-yard pass play.
And that's called going for the jugular. You get sudden change, you're in plus territory. Your coach gives you the green light. Boys, we're going for the kill shot. Throws a shot right down the sideline. Beautiful adjustment by Barkate, and has Duke knocking on the door again. You gotta love it. As Darian Mensah's family's looking on in jubilation.
Twin sister Grace, mom Naomi. On first and goal, Castle stacked up. Might have even lost a half yard. Devin Neal, part of the tackle for Virginia.
Just nothing more empowering as an offense and as a quarterback to get the green light. You have all the momentum. You can end it here. And they call that shot play. Your heart starts to race a little bit faster. You almost have to make sure you don't overthrow it. And that's been a huge difference from the previous matchup to tonight. Darian Mensah on the downfield throws has been really accurate. The receivers have made some great plays.
Ideally, they'd love to score on 3rd down, take as much time off the clock as they can. Big collision, and Castle belted down by Jacob Holmes, the senior from Phoenix, Arizona, transferred from Fresno State.
And a huge collision there. Boom! And Castle's a big man. Holmes is bigger.
Yeah, 290. Big play here, 5.5 to go, the clock running. Duke at the very least in field goal range to take a 2-score lead. Castle remains the running back. They took the clock all the way down to 1. Darian Mensah incomplete. Throw a sinker into the corner of the end zone. There is a flag down back behind the line of scrimmage. Barkate, the intended receiver. It's a holding call against Duke. What would you do if you're Tony Elliott? Turn it down and bring up 4th down, make him kick a field goal?
Absolutely. Nothing else to preserve another 7-8 seconds. And on 3rd and long, they'd probably run it anyways. So that would be even more time off the clock. So I'd decline it, make him kick, and get your offense in 2-minute mode.
Number 75. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Bruno Fina, the left tackle. So regardless of what happens on this kick, Chandler Morris is going to have a lot of work to do.
You know what to do, though, on the offensive side, though. It's going to be 2-minute operation, tons of tempo.
Todd Polino made a 29-yarder. This one's from 23. One of the all-time leading scorers in Duke history. Only Ross Martin has more career points. Polino adds 3 more to his total. 310 in his career. 5:02 to go. A 2-score lead for Duke. Here's another look at the All-State Playoff Predictor. Not sure we needed this great technology for this situation. Virginia with a win. They're going to be in the college football playoff as the conference champion. One of the 5 highest ranked conference champions. They're not going to be able to loss. And the playoff predictor
It was bad news for Duke. They're not going to be in the college football playoff, almost certainly, win or lose, although they're going to make their case if they win. Trell Harris, the fair catch. There are some JMU fans here. James Madison, the Dukes, cheering for Duke. Saw Bob Chesney interviewed on SportsCenter, their coach, after the game last night. He said, we will be very big Duke fans watching that game tomorrow night.
You know that they are all tuning in. I would imagine a watch party or two just up the road.
Both Tulane and James Madison were ranked in the top 25 by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee this week. Duke was not. Both of those teams won their conferences. Duke's not going to jump over them, almost certainly. Incomplete pass intended for Trell Harris. And he is still down on the Duke sideline. Oh, boy, awkwardly straightened his left leg as he crossed the boundary.
And you hate to see that too, because he really made a great effort on that high throw and just wasn't able to reel it all the way in. Grabs the left leg immediately.
Well, it looked like he hyperextended. Let's hope that's all it is. His left knee right there. Excellent player, transfer from Kent State.
What was the ruling on the field?
The ruling is an incomplete pass.
Correct. Need to hear from Max.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So based off of the look that you're about to see here, you're going to see control, and then you're going to see a body part down, and then you're going to see the player being driven back, and then he's going to go down, has control, and he maintains control throughout the process. So hold on. We're going to look at D. Hold on. So we're going to see control, body part. Now he goes. Now the question is going to be, is this player going to the ground? So let's take a look at this. Control, body part.
Did that ball ever move, Mark?
Correct. The ball is moved, but you see control. You see a foot down, inbounds, 2, 3. I believe it's over. I believe the catch process is over at this point. So, no, they ruled an incomplete pass.
We ruled incomplete pass.
So based off of this look, we're going to overturn the ruling on the field.
Got it.
And we are going to make this, it's going to be 1st and 10 at the plus 35-yard line.
Okay, so he maintained.
And the hash will be 1.
Right, so the receiver caught the ball inbound and got a foot inbounds, and the ball's at the 35.
The ball will be at the 35-yard line. That is correct.
And it's a first down.
Yes, because we are not ruling him as going to the ground. We have it control. So we're going to be 1st and 10 at the plus 35-yard line, hash 1.
Got it. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Good work. Okay.
Well, let's bring in Matt Austin after Jerry Megalanis makes the announcement to the crowd.
After review, the receiver completed the catch and got a foot down inbounds. It will be 1st down at the 35-yard line for Virginia.
And Trell Harris limps across the field. Matt Austin, what do you think?
I don't like this ruling. He's contacted before he completes the catch. He goes to the ground. In my opinion, that makes him a receiver going to the ground, and he must survive the ground. I disagree with this. If I was in the replay seat, this would be an incomplete pass, and I would have upheld the call on the field.
So you're saying when he put the ball down on the ground and it squirted away, he didn't survive the ground?
Right. They made a point that he was an upright receiver. I disagree from that point.
Morris on 1st down throws for Sage Ennis, incomplete. 2nd and 10, so UVA running out of time, 4:47 to go, all 3 of the timeouts. The down by 10.
Anything inbounds needs to be hyperspeed operation. Have to operate as fast as humanly possible.
Steps up into a clean pocket on target. Here's Cam Ross. He slips down at the 40. 25-yard gain. Chandler Morris to Cam Ross. 11 of those yards after the catch. And they come up very quickly to the 40. Morris just wanted to get rid of it as he was backpedaling in the general direction of Jamal Edrin.
Pass rush has really made Morris uncomfortable tonight. It's come from the inside, it's come from the outside. Done a really good job of kind of disrupting the rhythm of the passing game. It's affected Morris's accuracy.
Give this defense a lot of credit. For the most part this year, Duke's had to outscore the opponents. This defense gave up at least 25 points in each of the last 6 games prior to tonight. Morris throwing deep against them. Contact and a flag. Cam Ross, the intended receiver, and he got tangled up with Caleb Weaver.
Pass interference. Defense number 3. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Correct call. Underthrown deep ball. Ross trying to go back and make a play for it, and Weaver never turns around to play the ball. It's an easy call. A questionable defensive call by Patke to leave a one-on-one against a very fast receiver working against the safety. I would play 2 high safeties, play a little softer, and try to keep the ball in front of you.
They're at the 25-yard line. They've done it quickly. They've had the ball just 45 seconds. Going for the end zone, and that one's broken up. Intended for Eli Wood with Landon Callahan in coverage. Interesting target. Woods had only 9 catches all year. Senior from Lynchburg.
Yeah, probably could have gotten a call there too, because it looked like Wood was trying to work back inside, but Callahan never really let him. I think that should have been a penalty. Still. And then again too, I mean, that's another single high safety look where you're one-on-one on the outside. Now, I want to get 2 safeties back there and play a little bit more prevent, not allow those one-on-ones.
Play clock at 2 as they snap it. Matt Austin did agree with you. It should have been interference. That one's well covered. Sage Ennis the target. Jaden Francois, linebacker, in coverage on the tight end.
Really well defended in man coverage there on the back end. And now 3rd and 10, fringe field goal range. If I'm Duke, I'm thinking, might want to bring some pressure here. See if you can knock them out of field goal range. They're already there, but a sack here would be really detrimental to the Who's hopes.
Morris pressured. Dances away from the rush. And throws it away. Did well to avoid that loss that might have taken them out of field goal range. And Tony Elliott will send Will Bettridge on.
Brought a 5-man pressure there and did a great job on the back end of defending any of those receivers from breaking free.
He missed from 45, made from 24. This is from 42 yards. One they really have to have with under 4 minutes to go, and he made it right down the middle for the senior from Miami. And it's a 7-point game with 3:54 to go. One of the best efforts of the year for the Duke defense.
And they've been terrific, and the defensive line has been extremely disruptive, playing consistently in Virginia's backfield. They made some big stops. They get tackled for loss. 4th down stop here. Really good pass rush off the left side. They bring pressure on several occasions as well. Late additions, forcing Morris to predetermine where he was going to throw it. It results in an interception. I mean, this defense looks completely different throughout this game than they have throughout most of the year.
There are the numbers we talked about earlier. For the year, they gave up 29.4 points per game. That's 14th in the ACC out of 17 schools. Only Syracuse, BC, and Virginia Tech gave up more points per game, and they want to combine 8 and 28 this year. So usually you don't get to a championship game with that kind of defense. But they've done their job and then some tonight. The 2 best kickoff return teams in the country, and neither one of them's tried to bring a kickoff back tonight. Ball didn't land all that deep in the end zone. the foot of Elijah Slybeck.
Here's an opportunity now for Duke to really lean into what they've become over the last 3 games. They've become much more of a running football team. They were air it out all over the yard first 10 games. Well, they've been 50-50 balanced the last 3. And tonight they've leaned heavily on running the football with 33 carries against just 22 dropbacks for Mensah. But when he has dropped back, he's been very accurate and has made some great decisions.
Completed 17 to 22 for 180, a touchdown and an interception. Nate Shepard, the running back. And a tough run. He got 5, just kept surging forward. Jameer Carter at the bottom of the pile for the Virginia defense. Another 6th-year player.
Tony Elliott opting not to call the timeout right now based on what they just gained on first down. But this Virginia defensive line, they have got to make a couple stops here. You know Duke's going to lean on the run. Potentially a high percentage pass, but I wouldn't. Not with how they're running it. I just pound away.
Vince has done a very good job being alert to the play clock and running it down. Shepard again. Submarine, maybe a half yard. Jacob Holmes chopped him down. And Tony Elliott will use the timeout now with 3:04 to go. 2 timeouts left for each team. 3rd down and 4 upcoming for Duke. We'll see what Duke opts to do on this 3rd down. But first, let's get an update on the college football playoff rankings as of this past Tuesday. Ohio State and Indiana are down to the final seconds in Indianapolis. And it's Indiana perhaps playing for the #1 seed in the playoff, leading by 3. And that game has just gone final. Kurt Cignetti and the Indiana Hoosiers. They're probably going to be the #1 seed, won't they? They're number 2. They beat #1, the defending champs, you'd have to think.
Yep, they'll go straight to the Rose Bowl. #1 overall seed. What a job by Kurt Cignetti. Just incredible.
They remain undefeated, the only undefeated team in the country now. 5 for 13 on 3rd down are the Blue Devils. This would be huge. Anderson Castle, the running back. Will they risk a throw that might stop the clock on an incompletion? Yes, they will. Mensah starting to think about running. Now he's running for his life. Throws down the field. Caught! Barcade across the 45. What a play by Mensah to keep the play alive and find Barcade for 15 and a 1st down.
Unbelievable job by Darian Mensah. Steps up, thought he was going to collapse around him. He spins his way out of it, reverses field. And how about Barcade coming all the way across the formation? He was wide to the left, stayed to the left, was actually running a deep ball. Instead, he sees his quarterback's in trouble. He's got to get in his vision, puts up the mailman, and goes and makes a play for a massive 3rd down conversion for the Blue Devils.
And another big night for the Harvard transfer Barcade. 5 catches for 91 yards. Anderson Castle, the ball carrier. And Tony Elliott looks like he's going to let it go down to the 2-minute stoppage. Two minutes to go. Duke with the ball and a 7-point lead in the ACC Championship presented by Subway. Exclusive reveal of the final college football playoff top 25 rankings in the 12-team CFP bracket. A 3-hour special led by Reese Davis. Greg will be a part of it. The guys will react to the 12-team field, plus a live interview with committee chairman, Arkansas Athletic Director Hunter Yurachek. James Madison fans feeling pretty good about their chances. faint hope for Chandler Morris and UVA. Down by a touchdown with 2 minutes to go, and Duke has the ball 2nd and 8 near midfield. That show is at noon tomorrow on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. Anderson Castle for no gain. There is a flag down. Thrown to the line of scrimmage by the official on the far sideline. You have to turn that down, don't you? You can't give them another down to run the clock.
Yes, I think you do.
It'll be 3rd down and 8 if you don't take it. Who's he looking to? The analytics guy?
Analytics.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to rely on your gut. Time is of the essence. They didn't gain any yardage.
Illegal formation offense, more than 4 players in the backfield. The penalties decline. It's 3rd down. The game clock will start on the snap.
Opted to throw it the last time they were in a 3rd down. Man, I don't know. I think you probably lean on the run game here. I mean, defense has played great all game long. Darian Mensah is your best player. But if you're going to throw it, that's a dicey proposition.
So the penalty, even though it wasn't enforced, big for Virginia because it stopped the clock. 3rd down and 8. Without the penalty, they would have had to use another timeout. Here's Nate Shepard. And he went out of bounds with a 1-yard gain. So 2 plays in a row, a penalty stops the clock. And now running out of bounds stops the clock.
Just brutal for Manny Diaz. I mean, his freshman Shepard has been so good all year. Just lost track of where he was on the field. Tried to fight for extra yardage, but there, concede defeat, go down, force Virginia to burn that 2nd timeout.
4th down and 6. Cam Ross, dangerous return man back deep. Another good punt by Cade Reynoldson and a fair catch at the 4. Boy, Reynoldson a star tonight. The last one was down to the 1. 46-yard punt.
Just a disastrous 2-play sequence to run 3 plays and take just 13 seconds off the clock while giving Virginia both timeouts for this 2-minute operation. Just an enormous mistake. And if you're Chandler Morris, is what you live for, is what you dream about as a quarterback. Punch your ticket to the playoff by orchestrating a heroic 96-yard touchdown drive. If you're Duke, don't let them get behind you. Stay deeper than the deepest. And make sure you're a little soft in coverage and give up the underneath.
Out of the end zone, Morris. Quick connection to Cam Ross. He is stacked up short of the line to gain. The clock is running. It'll be under a minute and a half before they snap it next after an 8-yard gain.
Plenty of time. You need to hurry, though. Make sure your receivers are all set. Don't want to have any mistakes from the linemen.
Morris, another short throw. The clock will stop for a moment on the 1st down. The completion, Eli Wood for 6. Morris with pressure coming from Williams. Another completion. Edgerrin, there's a flag down, as you see, in the secondary right by the line to gain.
Probably going to get DPI, too. It looked like a receiver got tackled on the far side.
Holding defense, number 26. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Easiest call in the history of football here is the defender there. Kai Jones just tackles Ennis as he's trying to release downfield. Big thing here for Chandler Morris. You got a good rhythm so far. Still over a minute to play. Not thinking about the clock just yet. You still have those 2 timeouts at your disposal. We need to get a little more yardage here. Got 10, 15 here. Start to hit the intermediate throws.
Morris in a crowd, and it's incomplete. A flag thrown. zone intended for Ross. And apparently Caleb Weaver had an arm wrapped around him as the back judge threw the flag.
Number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And it's a good call. Weaver grabs the jersey. As it looked like Ross was breaking across his face, he actually grabbed the jersey and pulled him closer to him. Doesn't necessarily show it right there, but he did. He definitely tugged the jersey a little earlier. Watch it here. Watch as he's breaking away. Here he comes. That's where he grabs the jersey right there.
Right there, and that's what the back judge saw. Anthony Little the call. So 1:05 to go. Duke making some critical mistakes. Penalties. The play that went out of bounds when they were just trying to run the clock. Virginia still has the 2 timeouts.
And like right now, Duke's in 2-man. 2 high safeties, man coverage all across the bottom. What kills 2-man is quarterback run. So if Morris sees it, he can identify it, take off. Might be able to create a big play with his legs.
They're without Trell Harris, their leading wide receiver, who injured his leg earlier. Jamari Taylor breaks a tackle. Jamari Taylor banged down short of the first down, and Tony Elliott's going to use a timeout. After an 8-yard gain, they're almost to midfield. They started at the 4-yard line. Taylor gets up hobbling a bit.
Virginia, their second timeout.
But they're doing this without Trell Harris, who's their deep play wide receiver. And they really haven't been firing deep for the most part. 1 timeout left now for Virginia.
I think it's very important if you're Virginia. Offense is looking good so far, but if you're Duke, you have got to stay on top. Right now I've seen a lot of press coverage with 2 high safeties over the top. I like that approach because they've won up front with their pass rush. They haven't gotten home yet, but they're starting to create a little leakage in Virginia's protection. So I wouldn't blitz. I would just allow those guys to feast up front, keep 2 high safeties, and lock man coverage underneath.
The speedy Cam Ross came in motion to the right. Morris backpedaling as a man breaking open, and it's incomplete. Harrison Whaley couldn't hang on. He was open for quite a while. Andrew Pellicciata had the coverage for Duke.
Man, it was a well-thrown ball, but Pellicciata gets that left arm out, just messes with the vision of Whaley, but that's one you would think the running back's got to reel in. If you want to punch your ticket to the playoff, those are the plays you have to make.
Only 4 catches all season for Whaley. Third down and 2. You make sure you get the first down. That's what it looks like they're trying to do. And then a lot more. Whaley down to the 33-yard line. 19 yards. Caleb Weaver is not getting up. The leading tackler on the Duke defense.
That's significant too because of the veteran presence that he is in the back end. As a 5th-year player, a big collision as Whaley ran right through him, and hopefully Weaver's okay. But that's huge because of the communication absence of a veteran player in the back end. You now have to put somebody in, but it was smart. Just get the down and distance that you need to extend the drive. Clock's going to stop once you get the first down anyways. So that was a smart play call there by the Virginia offensive staff.
They're still tending to Weaver. That would be a huge loss. He's going to have to come out for at least one play. He is now sitting up. AT&T's keeping you connected with Bracket Insights. The selection show tomorrow starting at noon. It seems like the biggest decision for the committee is going to be which 2 out of these 3 make it.
That's it. I mean, that's the big key. And
unless you think there's somebody else.
No, I think that's it. It's these 3 fighting for 2 spots.
And it really, you move BYU out of the way. They're the team that's 11th. Now Miami, will they be right next to Notre Dame? In the event in which they are, then the head-to-head would potentially thrust Miami in front of Notre Dame. Or will Alabama fall back after today's defeat behind Notre Dame to create that wedge that wouldn't allow the head-to-head to be as much of a factor?
Well, there is some precedent. SMU lost this championship game last year and backed up, but stayed in the bracket. Not much room for Alabama to back up. On 1st and 10, Morris incomplete over the head of Ross. Andrew Pellicciata dropped back in coverage.
It was the first time on this drive that we've seen Jonathan Patke, the defensive coordinator for Duke, opt to bring pressure. They brought 5 that time, forced it out of Morris's hands very quickly, and they also played zone coverage behind it, which is a change-up too. It's been mostly man on this drive up to this point.
Pellicciata, who's in the game, is a true freshman, now playing in the middle of the field. He moves out to the far hash marks without Weaver, the starter, in the game. Morris on 2nd and 10, rolls right, throws sideline, lunging out of bounds. Eli Wood to stop the clock, playing more than he probably would have with Trell Harris not available. 6-yard gain, 3rd down and 4, 36 seconds to go. They're at the 27-yard line. Field goal does them no good. This is 4-down territory for sure. Jamari Taylor, the running back.
They need to stay wide with that safety. That safety's on the hatch. He needs to get deep. Instead, he's dropping down.
Morris throws over the head of Jamal Edrin. And it comes down to this play. Virginia's hopes of a conference championship and a trip to the college football playoff rests on this play.
Got to be anticipating pressure. Duke's brought pressure 3 plays in a row now. And the guy I'm looking at is Edrin, number 7. He's the big body receiver against man coverage. He's the guy that I want to target.
Morris throws, caught for a 1st down to the 18-yard line to Cam Ross. A 9-yard gain. They're going quickly. 25 seconds to go to the end zone. It is caught by Wood for a touchdown. The official threw his head. He was out of bounds for sure and came back in. Landon Callahan shoved him out of bounds. It's going to stand. A Virginia touchdown and an extra point away from a tie.
He was forced out, obviously, by Callahan. Does he come back in and establish himself? It looks like he does. Talking on the sideline, they're, of course, going to review every play. But what a moment there for the Hoos. 10 plays, 96 yards in just a minute and 22 seconds to potentially tie the game.
It's been an incredibly magical season, and the magic continues. Bettridge must have the extra point. He does. Tied at 20 with 22 seconds to go.
We have talked about it. Duke was playing one high safety with press coverage. Man, you have one-on-one opportunities down the field. So you can't let them get behind you, and they do. Taking advantage of Callahan, who's in the game because Kamari Robinson's banged up. It's a perfectly thrown ball by Chandler Morris. It's a great catch and an unbelievable drive for Virginia.
96 yards in 10 plays. Matt Austin, all good with the touchdown?
Yeah, it is. They're going to give the benefit of the doubt if there's any contact that he was forced out, and it's not reviewable since there was contact. So, yeah, I think that's a good touchdown call.
Eli Wood, the unlikely touchdown reception, just his 2nd of his senior season. Morris was 6 out of 9 on the drive for 55. And the penalties for Duke and the play that went out of bounds just under the 2-minute warning. A big help to Morris and the Hoos. There's never been an overtime game in an ACC championship game. We're 22 seconds away from it, perhaps. Now Higgins will try to bring it back. And he gets yanked down at the 12-yard line. What a drive. One of the great drives, most important drives in school history. But it only got them to all square.
Incredible. If you think about the journey that Chandler Morris has been on, 4 schools, having a chance now to go to the college football playoff, back against the wall, gotta have it, and to deliver like that, send this game to overtime. Absolutely remarkable.
And Duke is going to take a knee and take it to overtime. They had the game all but won, and they couldn't finish off the Cavaliers. Without their leading receiver, Harris, the little used Eli Wood stepped to the forefront. The biggest play of his life. And the ACC Championship still up for grabs in Uptown Charlotte.
Welcome to Overtime, presented by Cheez-It.
It's crunch time. In the first overtime, each team gets a possession starting at the opponent's 25-yard line. If it goes to a second overtime, teams again start at the 25-yard line, but must attempt a 2-point conversion after a touchdown with no extra points allowed. From the third overtime on, teams alternate 2-point conversion attempts from the 3-yard line until the game is decided.
So Tony Elliott won the toss and elected to go on defense. That's usually what you do in overtime. His team has already won 3 overtime games this season. Those were their 3 straight conference victories at midseason. The win against Florida State and 2 overtimes in Charlottesville really got this season off and running. Morris to Eli Wood to send it into overtime. Wood had 12 career catches prior to tonight in 4 years in the program. Just his 2nd career touchdown catch both this season. On to overtime we go for the first time in ACC Championship game history. And Darian mentioned the Blue Devils regroup after it looked like they had victory in their grasp. Nate Shepard on first down. Gets another first down with an 11-yard run. At the 2-minute stoppage, the win probability for Duke was 98%. Johnny Brewer didn't think he'd be calling plays in an extra session.
And they've done a great job throughout most of the game staying committed to the run game, and they need to do that here. If Virginia's going to give you a favorable look inside the tackle box, which just looks like that's what they got again here, just 5 guys in the tackle box, you can run the ball.
Duke has not played an overtime game this year. They've lost 10 games in a row to ranked opponents. They thought they were going to end that streak tonight. They still very well might. Nate Shepard gets them inside the 10. 6-yard gain. How do you think they feel in James Madison, Harrisonburg, Virginia? They thought they were on their way to the college football playoff.
I think stress level max for sure. Right up the road for Bob Chesney's Duke football team. Just begging the Duke Blue Devils to now hang on. And what Duke's doing offensively, continue to just grind the run game. I'd stick with it here again on 2nd down.
Shepard, the running back, he's up to 90 yards on 20 carries. He's had a phenomenal freshman year. He powers down inside the 5 and down to the 1.
7 for Nate Shepard.
As the field condenses, I mean, Virginia needs to put more bodies in the box. I mean, Duke is a heavy lean towards the run in the red zone, and yet Virginia on these last few plays has been trying to defend the pass. I mean, they need to adjust, or else Duke's going to run it right into the end zone.
And now they bring the touchdown score from close range Anderson Castle into the game. 11 rushing touchdowns. Castle stopped at the line of scrimmage. Fisher K-Mac at the bottom of the pile. 2nd and goal.
I think if you're Johnny Brewer, you stay with it. I mean, you're running the ball well. You got really 4 chances now, knowing how aggressive Manny Diaz is, to punch it in from inside the 2 with the 220-pound hammer at running back.
Castle remains the running back. Play clock at 3 as they snap it. Design roll for Mensah. He's in trouble. Chased by James Jackson. Throws to the sideline for Barkay. And it's incomplete and out of bounds. Emmanuel Carnley had the coverage. Interesting, they went away from the running game.
Great effort there by Barkay, but that left foot on the white the whole way. Tried to go with Q8 sprint right option, a play that works great this part of the field, made famous by Dwight Clark and Joe Montana. But I don't know why you wouldn't just stay committed to the run. They've been running it so well here in this overtime period, so to throw it on 2nd down, I think, was a bit of a mistake.
Out of the pistol, quick snap. Castle stopped at the 1-yard line. Jameer Carter leading the way for the Virginia defense.
I'd go for it here. You're inside the 2. Done a great job along the offensive line all night. If they decide to run it, they need to try something a little bit more off tackle as opposed to right up the middle, because now Virginia is really pinching that defensive front and stopping the downhill run. You can also go with some type of boot action, get Mensah outside the pocket. A lot of options here, but I love the decision to go for it.
They had 1st and goal at the 1. Now it's 4th and goal just outside the 1. Castle stays in the block. Mensah, end zone, touchdown! Jeremiah Hazley! There's a flag down way back at the 20, near where Mensah threw the ball.
But they hit Mensah late.
Yes, it's a roughing the quarterback penalty against Virginia.
Now they're trying to ask, can they enforce it on the overtime and make a play from the 40? I don't even know. Matt, are you able to do that?
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 1. That 15-yard penalty to be enforced to start Virginia's overtime period, or possession correction. We will have the try for points.
So the answer to your question is yes. We'll save Matt's vocal cords for a moment.
I mean, that is an enormous penalty now. To back it up to the 40 is huge.
And here's Polino. Has not missed an extra point this season. And he still hasn't. Wow. If they made it hard on themselves, blew the lead, took them 4 tries to get it in from the 1, but they did.
And the exact same play, just out of a slightly different formation on 2nd down. Sprint right option. But the option option route was covered. They did a great job defensively, Virginia, making sure they took away Brown, which forced Mensah to come all the way back and hit the guy that's traditionally used as the rub guy, the pick guy. And Hazley's right there uncovered. He finds him. And that's a great job staying poised on the move by his quarterback. And Diaz gives him a big hug because he knows he just bailed him out after a great defensive play.
Another fourth down conversion there. Fourth, they go to a trick play. Taylor threw it back to Morris. It is intercepted! Intercepted by Luke Margot! And Duke has won the ACC! The officials talking about it. They have to make sure that it was an interception by Margot.
What a play by Margot. Staying in coverage the whole way.
Is confirmed. That's the end of the game.
Unbelievable play by a guy that was buried on the depth chart earlier in the game. Injuries force him into the starting lineup, and what a difference Margot has made for this Blue Devil team. Just incredibly disciplined off the trick play. And Margot reels it in for the biggest play of his young career.
The first interception of his career. The Cavaliers in shock as